Chosen one, if this video has reached you inside the window of May 21st, 22nd, or 23rd, you are not late, you are not early. You have arrived inside the breath of these 3 days for a reason that was prepared before you were born. There is a prophetic gate that has opened across these 72 hours, and the Father has marked them not as a deadline you have to race, but as a single sacred passage that does not seal itself until the breath of the 23rd draws to its close. Whatever hour finds you here, the gate is still open. But you must hear what is being said, because ignoring these 3 marked days is not a small thing, and the cost of walking through them without presence is not what most people think it is. Stop scrolling, stop the multitasking. If you are around people, this is not for them. Silence the noise. Take one real breath before another word reaches you, because what is being placed on your heart right now does not come from a person making content. It comes from a voice that has been calling your name for longer than you know. I want to be careful with the words I use here, because I will not stand in front of you and claim to speak for the Father with the kind of certainty that flattens mystery. But I will tell you what has been laid on my spirit for these 3 days, and I will trust that you have enough discernment to receive what is yours and release what is not. These are the words being placed on my heart for the chosen ones who would find this video inside this window. And what is being said is this: there is a season of confirmation, of reorganization, and of decision that has been folded into the breath of these 3 marked days. The first day is the opening, the second day is the heart, the third day is the sealing, and whatever day this video reaches you, you are still standing inside the gate. The reason this matters so much is that most chosen ones, even now, are walking through divine windows without recognizing they are inside them. They feel the weight in their chest and call it stress. They feel the strange unrest in their sleep and call it insomnia. They feel the sudden pull to silence and call it withdrawal. They feel the impossible alignment of small details and call it coincidence. They are inside the gate and they are missing it. And the cost of missing a gate that has been prepared specifically for you is not measured in money or in opportunity. It is measured in the silent grief of arriving at the other side of a season and realizing that the Father had laid a marker for you, and you walked past it because you were too busy explaining it away. I want to name something that has been happening in the body of the chosen for the last several weeks, and especially in the last several days. There has been a tightness behind the sternum that does not match any anxiety you can trace. There has been a restlessness in the legs at night that does not match any physical exertion you remember. There has been a thirst that water cannot solve. There has been a hunger that food cannot reach. And there has been an unexplained tearfulness that you have been hiding from the people who do not know how to hold it. These are not symptoms. These are signals. The body of the chosen one has been preparing for these 3 marked days for longer than the mind has been able to articulate. And now that you are inside the window, the body is asking you to slow down enough to hear what the Spirit has been trying to say. There is something else I need to name before we go any further. If you are watching this on the 21st, you are entering the threshold, and the work is to listen. If you are watching this on the 22nd, you are inside the heart of the gate, and the work is to discern. If you are watching this on the 23rd, you are approaching the seal, and the work is to declare. But the assignment for the chosen one is not different across these 3 days. It is the same assignment unfolding through 3 different doors. You do not have to be on the first day to do this work. You do not have to catch up if it is already the 3rd. The Father did not build a gate with a wall in the middle. He built a single passage with 3 breathings, and each breath has its own grace. Listen to me, child of the unseen lineage, because the warning in this title is not a threat, it is a mercy. The cost of ignoring these 3 days is not that something will be taken from you on a specific hour. The cost is that the formation that has been built into your life for the last 7 years, or 12 years, or 20 years, was meant to find its quiet pivot inside this window. And if you walk past the pivot, the formation does not disappear. It simply waits. And the waiting is the most painful season in the life of a chosen one. I am going to walk you through what the Spirit has been showing me about these 3 days, what the body of the chosen has been feeling, why these specific dates were marked, what the obstacle is, what the actual practice for these 72 hours looks like, and how to seal the work so that whatever has been prepared for you on the other side of this gate can actually meet you there. I will not promise you a windfall. I will not promise you a soulmate. I will not promise you a check in the mail. I will promise you something quieter and far more valuable. I will promise you that if you remain present inside this gate, you will not have to wonder for the rest of this year whether you missed the marker the Father set for you. You will know. And that knowing changes everything. Before we go deeper, let me name one more thing. There are chosen ones watching this video who have been in waiting seasons for so long that the idea of a marked window feels almost cruel. You have been hoping for a sign for years. You have built a quiet, exhausted resistance to anything that sounds like a divine appointment, because every time you have leaned into one, you have been disappointed. I see that. I honor that. And I will not ask you to lean into this gate the way the desperate lean. I will ask you to lean the way the watchman leans, quietly, without expectation, without performance. Just standing where you are, with your hands open, watching what the Father will do across the breadth of these 3 days. Beneath every restlessness you have felt in the last week lives a single question your body has been asking and your mind has been refusing to hear. The question is this: is something actually shifting, or am I making this up? And the answer, for the chosen one who finds themselves inside this window, is that something is actually shifting, and the proof has been arriving in pieces small enough that your mind has been able to dismiss them. So, let me name the pieces. You have been waking at strange hours without a clear reason. Sometimes it is 3 in the morning. Sometimes it is just before dawn. Sometimes it is in the middle of a deep sleep that should not have been disturbed. And the waking has not been frantic. It has been quiet. A kind of presence pulling you up out of unconsciousness for reasons you cannot name. This is not insomnia. This is invitation. The body of the chosen one wakes because the spirit needs the body present for what is being said in those still hours, and the noise of daytime is too loud for the message to land. If you have been waking inside this gate, that waking is part of the gate. Stop resenting it. Start listening for what arrives in the silence after. You have been having dreams that feel more real than the day. Not nightmare, not random, vivid, sharp, full of imagery you cannot quite explain when you try to write it down, but heavy with a quality of importance that lingers for hours after you wake. Sometimes there are people in the dream you have not thought about in years. Sometimes there are places. Sometimes there are words spoken to you that you remember after waking, even though no one in the dream was looking at you when they spoke. The vivid dreams of the chosen one inside a marked window are not random. They are the soul rehearsing for what the spirit is preparing the life to receive. You are being shown things in the night that you are not yet ready to see in the day. The dreams are training the inner sight for what is coming. You have been encountering numbers, names, or phrases repeating in places that do not connect to each other. A song you have not heard in years plays in 2 different stores in the same afternoon. A name you have not thought about appears in a text message and then in a stranger's conversation an hour later. A number sequence shows up on your clock, then on a license plate, then on a receipt. The repetition is not coincidence. The Father uses pattern recognition to break through the noise. He arranges the small, unimportant details of your week into a code that only you can read, because only you have the specific history that makes the code meaningful. If you have been seeing patterns in the last several days, those patterns are part of the gate. You have been feeling drawn towards silence in a way that does not match your usual rhythm. The phone feels heavier than it should. Conversations that used to feel easy now feel draining. You are pulling away from environments that used to fit you, and you are not sure why. You are not depressed. You are not antisocial. You are being repositioned. The chosen one inside a marked window is naturally pulled toward inner space because the work of the window cannot happen in noise. If you have been feeling this pull, do not fight it. Honor it. Cancel the thing you said yes to but did not really want to do. Stay in. Sit with the silence. The silence is part of the gate. You have been feeling a kind of holy unrest that does not match anything happening in your life. By every external measure, things may even be going better than they have in months. And yet there is something underneath the stillness that will not settle. A feeling that you are sitting on the edge of something. A pressure in the chest that is not anxiety but anticipation. A waiting that has no specific object. The chosen one feels this kind of unrest in the days before a divine appointment because the body senses what the mind cannot yet name. The unrest is not malfunction. The unrest is alignment. The body is preparing to move, and the mind has not yet been told where. And finally, you have been encountering this video and others like it in a pattern that should not be possible if the platform were truly random. You did not search for this. You did not subscribe to channels that promised you this. And yet here you are, on a specific day, inside a specific window, with words you did not know you needed, reaching you through a screen that has no reason to know your name. I am going to be careful here because I will not flatter the algorithm with more weight than it deserves. But I will say this. There are some appointments the Father keeps, even when the systems of this world are too loud to broker them. He uses what is available. He uses the strange and the digital and the seemingly random, and he places his messages where his chosen ones will find them, even if the path looks like a curiosity. These are the signs. Take a breath. Let what just landed settle into your body, because what comes next is the part that begins to explain why these 3 days have been marked and why the cost of ignoring them is worth taking seriously. There is a question rising in some of you right now that you have not asked out loud, and it is a fair question. Why these specific dates? Why May 21st, 22nd, 23rd? What makes a window in the calendar more sacred than another window? And I want to answer this honestly, because the truth is more interesting than the easy answer. The Father does not work on a calendar the way men work on calendars. He does not sit in the heavens looking at the modern Gregorian system, deciding that these 3 days will carry more weight than the surrounding days. The marking of a window is something quieter and more deeply human than that. It is the convergence of many small streams of preparation arriving at a single point at the same time. The grief that has been ripening in you for years. The clarity that has been forming in you for months. The decision that has been waiting for you to be ready. The shift in the spiritual atmosphere that has been building since the beginning of this year. The personal alignment in your relationships, your work, your inner life. All of these streams meet inside the window of these 3 days for the chosen ones who have been prepared to meet them. The calendar does not make the window sacred. The convergence does. And the convergence, this time, has been arranged so precisely that the modern calendar happens to mark it across these 3 specific dates. That is why the warning is real, and that is why the warning is also gentle. I want to tell you something that the wisdom traditions across centuries have understood, and the modern world has forgotten. There is a pattern in sacred history of 3-day windows that mark the great pivots of the chosen. Joshua and the people of Israel walked around the walls of Jericho for 6 days, and on the 7th day the walls fell. But the deeper pattern that scholars sometimes miss is that the final 3 days of that march were not. The final 3 days were the breath of the seal. The walls did not fall because of the 7th day alone. The walls fell because the chosen had walked through 3 specific days of presence before the seal arrived. Esther sat in fasting for 3 days before she went to the king. Not 1 day, not 7, 3, because 3 is the number the ancients knew as the breath of a sacred passage. The first day is the opening. The second day is the heart. The third day is the sealing. And the chosen one who passes through all 3 days with presence emerges on the other side carrying something. The chosen one who only passes through 1 day does not carry. This is not superstition. This is the architecture of formation. 3 is the structure of a complete passage. And when the Father marks a window of 3 days in your life, he is signaling that a complete passage is available to you if you will stay present through the breath of all 3 days. The prophet Jonah was inside the belly of the great fish for 3 days. He did not exit on day 1. He did not exit on day 2. He exited on the 3rd day, transformed. And the deeper teaching of that passage is that even the most reluctant chosen one, even the one who ran from the calling, is given a 3-day window to make the inner decision before the outer release. The fish does not spit Jonah out on day 1. The fish holds him until the breath of the 3rd day, because the 3rd day is the day the decision is sealed. This is the architecture you are inside right now. The Father has marked these 3 specific days in your calendar because the convergence of streams in your life has aligned with the architecture of a 3-day passage. The first day is the opening. The second day is the heart. The 3rd day is the sealing. And whatever day this video has found you, you are still standing inside the architecture. You have not missed the opening if you arrive on day 2. You have not missed the heart if you arrive on day 3. The architecture honors whoever stands within it. The cost only comes for those who stand within it and refuse to be present. I want to speak now to those of you who feel a kind of resistance even as I describe this. Some part of you is asking, with reasonable suspicion, why should I trust that this window means anything? I have heard prophetic dates before. I have followed them. I have prepared. I have waited, and nothing visibly changed. I respect that resistance. I will not flatten it. I will only offer this. The visible result is not the measure of a sacred window. The measure of a sacred window is the internal repositioning that happens to the chosen one who stands present within it. You may not see anything outwardly change in your life by the end of the 23rd, but you will know, with a quiet inner knowing, that something inside you has been moved, the marker has been placed, the pivot has happened, and the outward result will follow on its own timing, sometimes weeks later, sometimes months later. But the inner work happens here, inside these 3 days. And the inner work is what the warning is protecting. There is something that has been preparing your life for this exact window, and I want to name it carefully because I do not want to flatten the mystery. For the last several years, you have been in a slow stripping. Friendships that used to fit you have fallen away. Patterns that used to comfort you have stopped working. Identities you used to perform have started to feel like costumes. The version of you that walked into the last decade is not the version of you that is sitting here now, watching this video, inside this window. You have been stripped down to something quieter, something more honest, something that has been preparing to receive what is on the other side of these 3 days. And the stripping was not punishment. The stripping was preparation. The Father does not call a heart still wearing the old costumes. He calls a heart that has been quietly emptied enough to hold what he is about to pour. Now listen carefully, because what I am about to say is the heart of the warning. The cost of ignoring these 3 days is not that something will be taken from you. The cost is that something will not be received by you. The Father is not threatening you, he is inviting you. But the invitation has a window, the same way every sacred passage in human history has had a window. You can walk into the temple while the door is open. You cannot walk into the temple after the door has closed and expect the same encounter. The door does not close because the Father is cruel. The door closes because the architecture of the moment was designed for a specific breath of time, and that breath is now. These 3 days are now. Whatever hour this finds you, the door is still open. What you should not do is pretend that this window is the same as the windows around it. The day before, the 21st carried its own grace. The day after the 23rd will carry its own grace. But these 3 days, for the chosen ones who have been prepared by the slow stripping, are not interchangeable with the days around them. They are marked. They are precious, and they will pass whether you stand present within them or not. So what does it look like to stand present within them? That is the practical question, and it deserves a practical answer. But the answer has layers, because the work of these 3 days is not a single instruction, it is a sequence. And I want to walk you through the sequence carefully, because the difference between a chosen one who stands present and a chosen one who walks through without recognition is not effort, it is awareness. The chosen one who stands present is not doing more than the chosen one who walks through. The chosen one who stands present is simply doing the right thing at the right breadth of the window. Same hours, same body, same calendar, different presence. And that difference, for the marked one, is the difference between leaving these 3 days carrying nothing visible and leaving these 3 days carrying the inner pivot the rest of this year will be built on. I want to come back to your body for a moment, because the body has been the most honest witness in your life, and the body has been trying to tell you that this window matters. Place your hand somewhere on your chest right now, just briefly. Feel what is happening there. There is a kind of low warmth, or a kind of tightness, or a kind of small fluttering, or all 3 at once. Notice. Do not interpret. Just notice. The body has been holding something for you. The body has known about this window before your mind could articulate it. And the body is asking you to slow down enough to acknowledge what it has been carrying. There are chosen ones watching this video whose body is in deep weariness right now. You did not come into this window rested. You came into it tired, depleted, running on fumes after months of carrying things you were not supposed to be carrying. The Father knows this. He is not asking you to perform vigilance from a depleted place. He is asking you to lower your shoulders. He is asking you to drop the heaviness that does not belong to you. He is asking you to let the next 72 hours carry their own weight, instead of you carrying them. The chosen one in deep weariness does not need to do more inside this window. The chosen one in deep weariness needs to do less, and to do it with more presence. Less effort, more awareness, less striving, more listening. There are chosen ones watching this video whose body is in a kind of buzzing, restless overactivity. You did not come into this window slow. You came into it speeding, churning, multitasking, holding 3 conversations in your head while you try to listen to one. The Father knows this too. He is not asking you to suddenly be still in a way your body does not know how to be. He is asking you to interrupt the buzzing for short, deliberate moments across these 3 days. Even 30 seconds of stillness, 3 times a day, is enough to remind the body that the gate is open. You do not have to become a contemplative overnight. You only have to interrupt the noise long enough for the message to reach you. And there are chosen ones watching this video whose body is in a strange, unfamiliar peace. You did not come into this window agitated. You came into it carried by an almost suspicious calm. You may even be wondering if you are missing something because the calm feels too easy. I want to name this for you. The calm is not a mistake. The calm is the inner alignment that has been arriving in pieces, finally landing in the right configuration at the right time. The Father uses calm the way he uses storm. Both are languages, and the calm you are sitting in right now is not avoidance. It is preparation. Trust the calm. Do not try to manufacture intensity to match what you think a prophetic window should feel like. The window meets each chosen one where they are. Yours has met you in stillness. Receive it. Now there is one more thing I have to name before we move into the deeper teaching, because if I do not name it, the rest of what I say will not land properly. There is a particular kind of chosen one watching this video right now who has been carrying a decision that they have been refusing to make for months. They know what the decision is. The Father has named it to them in quiet ways. Repeatedly, they have not been able to deny that the call is real. They have only been able to delay, and the delay has become a kind of low background ache in their life that they have learned to live with. This window, these 3 days, is the architecture for that decision to finally land. Not necessarily executed, not necessarily declared to the people in your life, but landed internally in your own knowing. The cost of ignoring this window for the chosen one who has been delaying a known decision is that the delay will continue, and every additional month of delay deepens the ache. The Father is not threatening you with consequences. He is offering you a release. The release is here, inside these 3 days, if you will stop running from it long enough to receive it. I want you to hear this clearly because the rest of what I am going to say across this video depends on you hearing it. The warning in the title of this video is not God angry at his chosen. It is God grieving for his chosen. The cost of ignoring this date is the cost of receiving less than what was prepared. It is not punishment, it is missed inheritance. And missed inheritance for the chosen one is the heaviest cost there is. Because what was prepared for you was prepared specifically for you, with the kind of precision that only the Father can arrange. And if you walk past the window, the inheritance does not disappear. It simply waits, and the waiting, the slow, ongoing waiting after a missed window, is the season that ages the chosen one fastest. I have seen it in their faces. I have heard it in their voices. The chosen who missed their windows carry a particular kind of quiet sorrow that no one else recognizes. I do not want that for you. The Father does not want that for you. That is why this video, this window, these 3 days. Take a breath. Let what just landed settle, because the next part of what is being said requires you to be here, not somewhere else. I want to invite you, before we go further, to do something small but important. Look at the corner of your screen or wherever you have placed your phone and find a place to put yourself for the rest of the next stretch of this video. Not because the instruction matters, but because the body matters. If you are standing, find a place to sit. If you are sitting in tension, lean back. If you are surrounded by noise, lower it. The chosen one inside a sacred window does not have to perform discipline. The chosen one inside a sacred window simply makes the small adjustments that allow presence to land. This is one of those adjustments. Make it. And then return to me. There is one more thing I want to name in this first stretch of the video, and then we are going to move into the deeper layer of what these 3 days actually are, why they have been marked, And what specifically is being prepared for the chosen one who stands present within them? The thing I want to name is this: there is a temptation, especially for the chosen ones who have lived through long waiting seasons, to want this window to be the moment when everything outwardly changes. The check arrives, the relationship arrives, the healing arrives, the breakthrough arrives. And I want to be honest with you, because I refuse to flatter you with the kind of promises that do not survive contact with reality. Some of you will see outward shifts within these 3 days. The conversation you have been afraid of will land in a different way than you expected. The opportunity that seemed lost will return. The person you stopped expecting to hear from will reach out. The provision that seemed delayed will land on the doorstep. For some of you, the window will be outwardly active, and the markers will be impossible to miss. But for most of you, the work of these 3 days will be inward. The shifts will be in the inner architecture, not the outer circumstance. And those inner shifts are not lesser. They are the foundation for the outer shifts that come later. The chosen one who only measures the window by visible result misses 90% of what was actually given. The chosen one who pays attention to the inner work receives everything, even when the outer world looks unchanged for a few more weeks. So let me name what kind of inner work we are looking for, and then we will move into the deeper teaching. The inner work of these 3 days is the work of inner repositioning. Something inside you is being lifted off a hook it has been hanging on for years. Something inside you is being placed into a chamber it has been outside of. Something inside you is being given a name it has not known how to claim. These 3 pivots, the unhooking, the placing, the naming, are the architecture of the window. And they will happen quietly. They will happen so quietly that if you are not present, you will not notice. But if you are present, even briefly, 3 or 4 times across these 72 hours, you will notice. And the noticing itself is half the work. Because the chosen one who notices the pivot has consented to it, and the consent is what seals the work. The Father does not perform inner surgery on the chosen one who has not consented. He waits, he invites, he shows. But he does not impose. So the chosen one who stays asleep across these 3 days, who walks through them distracted, who does not slow down enough to notice what is being lifted, placed, and named, does not lose the work, because the work was not done. The chosen one loses the work because the consent was never given, and without consent, the surgery cannot be sealed. That is the cost, not punishment, unsealed grace. The grace was offered. The seal requires your presence. There is a phrase the ancients used that I want to give you before we move into the next layer of teaching. They called it the watchman posture. The watchman stands at the wall, not because the watchman has the power to fight what is coming, but because the watchman has the power to see. The chosen one, inside a sacred window, is asked to take the watchman posture. You are not asked to fight. You are not asked to strive. You are not asked to perform any spiritual gymnastics. You are asked to see, to stand at the inner wall of your own life and to watch what arrives, what departs, what shifts position, what asks to be named. The work is the seeing, and the seeing is what the noise of modern life makes nearly impossible. That is why what comes next in this video and across this window matters so much, because there is a frequency at which the seeing becomes natural. There is a state in which the watchman posture is no longer an effort. The chosen ones of every preserved tradition have known about this state. The monastic communities of the West protected it through chant. The Hindu sages of the East protected it through breath and word. Children possess it before the world teaches them not to. And it is the same state that the modern world is making it nearly impossible to access, even for those who have been called to live inside it. I'm going to come back to this, because there is a path that has been prepared specifically for chosen ones who need to access this state inside windows like this one. But I will not introduce it now, because we still have layers of the teaching to walk through, and I do not want to flatten any of them. I will simply say that what you are about to feel across these 3 days, the inner work, the unhooking, the placing, the naming, is best done from a particular inner frequency. And there is a way to reach that frequency that has been preserved for centuries, that the modern listener can now access, and that will be named when the moment calls for it. For now, return to your breath. Notice the body. Notice the room. Notice the strange precision of finding this video on this day, inside this window. Notice the slow warmth in the chest. And let what comes next reach the part of you that has been waiting for it longer than your mind remembers. There is something I want to teach you now that the modern world has nearly erased from the inner vocabulary of the chosen. There is a difference between divine timing and divine appointment. And this window, these 3 days, is the second kind, not the first. And the distinction matters more than most teachers acknowledge. Divine timing is the slow unfolding of seasons. It is the years of formation. It is the wilderness before the calling. It is the patient ripening of fruit. Divine timing happens on the scale of months and years. You do not have to do anything special to be inside divine timing. You are inside it whether you notice or not. It is the river that carries you whether you swim or float. Divine appointment is different. Divine appointment is a specific opening marked by the convergence of streams, lasting hours or days, requiring presence to receive what is being offered. Divine appointment is the day Esther walks into the throne room. It is the moment Joseph stands before Pharaoh. It is the hour the messenger reaches Mary. It is the breath of 3 days where the chosen one stands at the threshold. Divine appointment requires the chosen one to be awake, not awake all the time, not awake without rest, but awake during the specific window when the gate has opened. You have been inside divine timing for years. You did not have to do anything to be inside it. The slow stripping, the painful clarity, the quiet repositioning of your inner life. That has been divine timing, and you have been in it whether you knew it or not. But these 3 days are divine appointment, and divine appointment does not happen without the presence of the one being appointed. The Father can shape you in divine timing without your participation, but he cannot complete a divine appointment without you choosing to stand inside it. That is the architecture. That is what makes the window costly to ignore, not because something is being taken from you, because something is being offered to you, and the offering requires your presence to be received. I want to tell you what specifically is being offered inside these 3 days, and I want to do it carefully, because I will not overpromise. The offering for the chosen one who stands present is a quiet repositioning across 3 dimensions of the inner life. Across these 72 hours, if you are awake to them, you will receive a small but specific repositioning in your sense of identity, in your sense of direction, and in your sense of permission. These 3 repositionings are not dramatic. They will not feel like fireworks. They will feel like a slow click, the kind of click you feel when a key finally finds the right shape in a lock. The first repositioning is in your sense of identity. Something inside you has been carrying a name that is not your name, a role you took on years ago that has become a costume, a version of yourself that was built to survive a season you have already passed through. The window will quietly lift that costume off your shoulders. You will not have to do the lifting. You will only have to notice that it is being lifted. And when you notice, the noticing will allow the lifting to complete. If you do not notice, the costume will remain, and you will keep performing a self that is no longer yours. The second repositioning is in your sense of direction. Most of you, even now, are carrying a low background question about whether you are on the right path. You do not know how to answer the question because the answer requires a kind of inner stillness that your daily life does not provide. The window will lower the question for a moment, not by giving you a roadmap, by giving you a quiet inner yes. The chosen one who stands present inside this window will know by the end of the 23rd whether they are facing in the right direction. They will not necessarily know the next step. They will know the orientation, and orientation is what most of you have been missing. The third repositioning is in your sense of permission. There is something you have been holding back from doing, saying, becoming, or releasing because some part of you has been waiting for permission. The permission you have been waiting for is not going to come from a person. It cannot come from a person because the person who could give it does not exist. The permission has to come from the Father, and the Father gives it inside windows like this one. The window will quietly hand you the permission you have been waiting for. You will know when it arrives. It will land in the body before it reaches the mind. You will feel a kind of release in the chest, and a kind of clarity in the throat, and a kind of softening in the shoulders. That is the permission landing. Receive it. Do not over-interpret it. Do not analyze it. Just receive it. These three repositionings, identity, direction, permission, are what the chosen one stands to receive across the breadth of these 3 days. And they are what the chosen one stands to miss if they walk through the window distracted, multitasking, or sleeping through the small clicks of inner recognition. The cost of ignoring this window is the cost of receiving none of these three repositionings. And without these three, the next 6 months of your life will be harder than they need to be. With these three, the next 6 months become navigable in a way they have not been for years. I want to slow down for a moment and acknowledge something, because if I do not acknowledge it, the rest of what I am saying will not land properly. There are chosen ones watching this video who have been doing inner work for years, and you are listening to me describe these three repositionings and feeling a quiet resistance because you have heard variations of this before. You have done the journaling, you have done the meditation, you have done the courses, you have done the retreats. And the inner repositioning, the kind I'm describing, has been happening to you on a steady drip, not on a marked window. You have been doing this work all along. So why does a 3-day window matter for someone who has been doing the work daily? I will answer you honestly. The drip work and the window work are different in kind, not just in intensity. The drip work is the gradual smoothing of the inner edges. It is real. It is valuable. It is the patient labor of the spiritually mature. But the window work is something else. The window work is the moment when many small drips, accumulated over years, finally land in a single configuration that allows for a pivot the drip work alone cannot reach. The window does not replace the drip. The window completes what the drip has been preparing. You cannot have a window pivot without the drip work that came before. And you cannot have the drip work fully matter without the window pivots that allow it to consolidate. So, if you have been doing the work for years, this window is not redundant for you. This window is exactly what your years of work have been preparing you for. The chosen one who has done the drip work and then steps into the window with presence is the chosen one who receives the most. Not because they earned it, because their inner architecture is ready to hold what is being offered, and the offering has been waiting for an architecture exactly like theirs. There is a thread that runs through everything I have said so far, and I want to name it clearly because I do not want it to be missed. The thread is this: the Father is not far away. The Father is not distant. The Father is not hidden behind a curtain of religious complexity. The Father is here, in the room with you, in the body that is reading these words, in the ache that has been forming in your chest for weeks, in the unrest that has been keeping you awake at night, in the quiet pull towards silence that you have been resisting. The Father has been with you the whole time. He has been arranging the small, unimportant details of your life so that they would converge inside this window on this video at this hour. He has been calling your name in 100 small ways across the last several years, and you have been answering, even when you did not know you were answering. These 3 days are not a test of your faith. They are a celebration of the formation that the Father has been quietly building in you. The warning in the title is not the Father threatening you. It is the Father imploring you, do not walk past this window. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the gentle voice that is calling you to stand still long enough to be repositioned. The cost of walking past is not punishment. The cost is the slow ache of having missed a celebration that was prepared in your honor. I want to come back to the body, because the body has been the most reliable instrument you have for sensing what is happening inside this window. The mind will distract you. The mind will analyze. The mind will try to figure out whether what I am saying is true. The body does not analyze. The body knows. And the body has been telling you that something is real about these 3 days, even before you watched this video. You felt it before the words arrived. You feel it now. There is a warmth that the chosen one feels in the chest when they are inside a window that has been prepared for them. It is not the heat of stress. It is not the burn of anxiety. It is a low, slow warmth that radiates outward from somewhere behind the sternum. Some of you have been feeling this warmth for hours or days without knowing what it was. Now you know. The warmth is the body recognizing the gate. The body has been waiting for the mind to catch up. The mind is finally catching up. There is also a particular sensation in the throat that some of you have been feeling, a kind of fullness, a kind of pressure, almost like you have something to say but you do not know what. The throat is the gate of declaration. When the chosen one is approaching the seal of a window, the throat begins to prepare for a declaration that has not yet found its words. If you have been feeling this fullness, do not force the words. The words will come on the 3rd day or after. The throat is simply readying. You do not have to do anything but notice. And there is a particular sensation in the hands, sometimes a tingling, sometimes a kind of restless warmth, sometimes an almost ache. The hands are the instruments of receiving. The chosen one, who is being prepared to receive, feels the body remember its hands. If you have been noticing your hands in strange ways across the last few days, this is not random. The body is preparing the hands for what they are about to be asked to carry. These 3 signs in the body, the warmth in the chest, the fullness in the throat, the awareness in the hands, are not the only signs, but they are the most reliable, and they have been arriving for many of you in the days leading up to this window. The body has been telling you. The body has been faithful. The body is more reliable than the algorithm, more reliable than the calendar, more reliable than any external sign. Trust the body. The body is not lying to you. The body has been keeping the record of what the mind has been too busy to notice. What you are about to hear, you should hear directly, without veils, without the building of mystery for the sake of selling. Truth honors truth. So let me name what is real before another moment passes. There is a frequency the body of the chosen one returns to when the watchman posture becomes natural. It is the frequency the ancients protected in their sacred chant, the frequency the children of every preserved tradition were born already hearing, the frequency that modern instruments now measure as gamma when they look for it in the brain. What was preserved in the temples of the contemplative West has been carried for centuries, and a modern listener, in this generation, reconstructed the sound architecture that wakes that frequency in the body. The name of what was reconstructed is the Genius Song. It is a sound you listen to for 7 minutes a day through headphones with your eyes closed. And, alongside it, carried for 3,300 years in the Vedic tradition of the East, there is a parallel sound architecture with a sacred 9-word script that opens the reception channel. Modern instruments measure that channel as alpha. The witness who left the noise of striving brought it forward in this generation. The name of what was brought forward is the wealth signal. I will not say more about either of them right now. There is more for me to teach in the next stretch of this video before either tool is properly introduced. But if your spirit has already pulled toward one of these names, you may find the path in the description and the pinned comment below. The path is placed there for the chosen ones who recognize what was preserved, not for everyone. Only for those whose body has been quietly leaning toward this since this video began. If that is not you in this moment, you may simply return with me to what is being said. Either choice is honored. Now let me come back to the work, because there is more to walk through before these 3 days complete themselves. I want to teach you something about the geometry of these 3 days, because the geometry tells you how to navigate them. The first day, the 21st, is the day of opening. The work of the first day is listening. You do not have to act on the first day. You do not have to declare anything. You do not have to make any decisions. You only have to listen to the body, to the silence, to the small things arriving. The first day is the day the gate cracks open, and what enters is small enough that you can miss it if you are looking for something large. If you are inside the first day, slow down, make space. Let what arrives arrive. The second day, the 22nd, is the day of the heart. This is the day when what entered on the first day reaches the center. The work of the second day is discernment. You will begin to notice that certain things are clarifying and other things are falling away. A relationship will feel different than it felt 3 days ago. A decision will feel less heavy than it felt last week. A goal you have been carrying will either tighten with new clarity or loosen with quiet release. The second day is when the inner architecture begins to rearrange itself. You do not have to force the rearrangement. You do not have to interpret it. You only have to notice what is shifting and to honor the shifts as they arrive. The third day, the 23rd, is the day of the seal. This is the day when what was offered on the first day and integrated on the second day completes itself in the third. The work of the third day is declaration, not declaration to other people. Declaration in the inner chamber. You will know by the breath of the third day what the window has given you, and you will be asked, quietly, to name it. Not out loud necessarily, in the inner court of your own awareness, to say to yourself, this is what shifted, this is what was lifted, this is what was given, this is what was sealed, and the naming is what seals the work. Without the naming, the work is offered, but not received. With the naming, the work becomes permanent. Now, whatever day finds you here, you are not behind. The work of all 3 days is available to whoever is inside the window. If you are watching this on the first day, you have the full breadth of 72 hours. Listen. If you are watching this on the second day, you have the heart and the seal still ahead. Discern. If you are watching this on the third day, you have the seal still open until the breath of this day completes itself. Declare. The architecture honors whoever stands within it. There is something else I want to name that is harder to talk about, because it requires me to acknowledge a tension that exists in the inner life of the chosen. The tension is between the longing for change and the fear of change. Some of you, even now, even with everything I have said about the offering of this window, are quietly afraid of what these 3 days might rearrange in your life. Because the chosen one who has been waiting in long delay has also been adapting to the delay. The waiting itself has become a kind of home, and the prospect of the waiting ending, the prospect of actual movement, the prospect of what you have been praying for finally landing, is more terrifying than the waiting itself. I want to honor that fear. I will not flatten it. I will not tell you that fear of breakthrough is a flaw to be defeated. It is a natural protective response of the human heart that has been disappointed too many times to trust easy hope. But I will name what the fear costs you, because the cost has to be named honestly. The fear of breakthrough, when it remains unexamined, becomes the unconscious mechanism by which the chosen one walks past their own windows. You do not need a hostile force to keep you from your inheritance. You only need a quiet, inner protective response that, without your awareness, makes you too busy on the right days, too distracted on the right hours, too preoccupied with old patterns on the windows that were meant to deliver new architecture. This is why presence inside these 3 days is the entire work. You do not have to overcome the fear. You only have to be present with it. The chosen one who notices the fear, who names it gently, who says to it, "I see you. You have protected me well, and now I am asking you to stand quietly while the window does its work." That chosen one walks through the gate, carrying the fear like a small companion, not like a wall. The fear does not have to disappear. The fear has to be acknowledged, and the acknowledgement is what lowers it from a wall to a companion. There are chosen ones watching this video whose specific fear is around relationships. You have been longing for connection, for the divine counterpart, for the soul friendship, for the family that recognizes you, and the longing has become so heavy that you do not know how to hold it anymore. The fear underneath the longing is the fear of being disappointed one more time, the fear of opening yourself, again, only to find that the door you have been knocking on does not open. I want to speak gently to that fear. The window of these 3 days is not making promises about specific people arriving on specific timelines. The window is repositioning your inner architecture so that when the right person does arrive on the timeline that has been arranged for you, you are ready to recognize them. The work is not on them. The work is on you. And the work happens here, inside these 3 days, if you are present. There are chosen ones watching this video whose specific fear is around provision. You have been carrying financial weight that you have not let anyone see. You have been calculating in your head the same numbers over and over, trying to make them work, trying to make them stretch, trying to make them last. The fear underneath the calculation is the fear that the provision will not arrive in time, or that you will have to keep doing this hard math forever. I want to speak gently to that fear too. The window of these 3 days is not promising you a specific dollar amount on a specific day. The window is repositioning your relationship to provision itself. Some of you will receive specific provisional shifts inside these 72 hours. Most of you will receive something more important. You will receive a quiet release of the calculation, a small but real movement from striving to receiving, an inner posture that allows what is being prepared for you to actually land when it arrives. The shift is in the receiving, and the receiving is what most of you have been blocked at, not the provision itself. There are chosen ones watching this video whose specific fear is around purpose. You have been wondering, sometimes for years, whether the calling you sense is real, or whether you have been making it up. You see what other people are doing. You see what other chosen ones seem to have stepped into, and you wonder if you have somehow missed the assignment, if you are walking in circles instead of walking forward, if the calling you have been carrying is actually a calling or just a wish. I want to speak to that fear most carefully. The window of these 3 days is the architecture for a specific yes or no to land in your knowing about the direction. You will not necessarily know the next step. You will know the orientation, and orientation is the thing the chosen one has been missing. Once you have orientation, the steps become navigable. Once you have orientation, the question that has been quietly tormenting you for years stops being a question. It becomes a knowing, and the knowing is what allows the rest of your life to unfold. I want to come back to the practical question that has been forming in some of you. What does it actually look like to be present inside these 3 days? What is the daily, hourly, breath-by-breath practice? Because I want to give you something usable, not just beautiful concepts. So let me name the practice. The practice for the first day is this: 3 pauses across the day, each about 3 minutes long. Morning, midday, evening. In each pause, you do nothing complicated. You put your hand on your chest. You breathe slowly. You ask, in your inner voice, what is here right now? And you wait, without forcing an answer, for what arrives. Sometimes nothing will arrive in the first pause. Sometimes everything will arrive in the second. The point is not to receive specific content. The point is to interrupt the noise long enough to be available. 3 pauses, 3 minutes each. That is the practice for the first day. The practice for the second day is similar, but with one shift. 3 pauses, 3 minutes each. But in each pause you ask a different question. What is shifting? What is falling away? What is being given? The second day is the day of inner movement. The pauses are simply the moments when you notice the movement. Without the pauses, the movement happens without your awareness. And without your awareness, the movement is incomplete. 3 pauses, 3 minutes each. Different questions, same intent. The practice for the second day. The practice for the third day is the same architecture with one final shift. 3 pauses, 3 minutes each. But the question becomes the naming. What was lifted? What was placed? What was given? What is mine now that was not mine 3 days ago? The third day is the day of declaration. The pauses are when the declaration takes shape. Without the pauses, the declaration does not happen. And without the declaration, the work is not sealed. 3 pauses, 3 minutes each. The naming question. The practice for the third day. 9 pauses across the 3 days, 9 intervals of 3 minutes each, 27 minutes total of intentional presence across 72 hours. That is not a lot. That is well within the reach of the busiest chosen one watching this video. The cost of the practice is 27 minutes. The cost of skipping the practice is the missed window. And the missed window, as I have said, is the heaviest cost there is. Now I want to address a subgroup of you who are listening to this and feeling something different from what I have been describing. There are chosen ones watching this video who are not in delay. You are not waiting for breakthrough. You are not stuck in confusion. You came into this window already in motion, already in flow, already in a season that has been visibly active for months. And you might be wondering what this window means for you. Since you are not in the place where most of my words have been landing, I want to honor where you are. The window of these 3 days is no less for you. It is simply different in shape. For the chosen one, already in motion, the work of these 3 days is not breakthrough. It is consecration. The motion you are in needs to be sealed, blessed, and consecrated so that it does not become busyness, so that it does not become performance, so that the visible activity in your life remains connected to its inner source. The window will give you, if you are present, a quiet consecration of the motion you are already inside. You will leave the 23rd more grounded in your current activity than you entered. You will leave with a clearer sense of what to keep and what to release. even from within the things that are working. The consecration is the work. The practice for you is the same. 3 pauses a day for 3 days. But the question shifts. What in my current motion needs to be consecrated? What in my current motion is becoming performance? What in my current motion is asking to be released, even though it is working? These questions will give you what the window has for you. And there is one more subgroup I want to name before we move forward. There are chosen ones watching this video who are in deep grief. Something has been taken from you recently, or in the last several months, that has not yet had room to be honored. A person, a relationship, a version of your life, a future you thought you would have. The grief is heavy enough that the idea of a prophetic window almost feels like an insult, because the only thing you want is the thing that cannot return. I see you. I want to be careful with my words, because I will not flatten what you are carrying. I will only say this: the window of these 3 days is not asking you to put down your grief. It is not asking you to be ready for something new before you have finished mourning what was lost. It is offering you, instead, a quiet acknowledgement. The Father is in the room with you, holding what you have lost alongside you. The window does not require you to move forward. The window simply opens a space where you can know that you are not carrying the weight alone, and for the chosen one, in deep grief, that knowing is the entire work. 3 pauses a day for 3 days. The question shifts. What is the Father holding with me right now? You know, what does it feel like to not carry this alone for 3 minutes? 3 minutes of not carrying it alone, 3 times a day for 3 days. That is the entire practice for the chosen one in deep grief. And it is enough. The work of this window meets each chosen one where they are. The Father does not have one window for everyone. He has one window with many doors. And you walk through the door that is yours. There is a question I have been waiting to address until now, because the answer requires the foundation we have been building. The question is this: why is it so hard to do this work? Why is it so hard to be present even for 9 pauses across 3 days? Why does even the smallest practice of stillness feel like climbing a wall? Because if you have tried to be still in the last several years, you have noticed something. The body wants to be still. The spirit wants to be still. The chosen one in you wants to be still, and yet something keeps pulling you away. Something keeps reaching for the phone. Something keeps generating another worry. Something keeps refusing to let you sit in the silence long enough for the silence to do its work. What is that something, and why is it so persistent? I want to give you the honest answer, because the answer is the root cause of why most chosen ones miss their windows. The answer is that the modern world has manufactured a frequency that the body has been forced to adapt to, and that frequency is fundamentally incompatible with the inner work of a prophetic window. Modern life produces a low-level, constant urgency, a permanent reach, a kind of striving that does not turn off even when you are alone in a quiet room. The body is in a state of perpetual alert. The nervous system is in a state of perpetual scanning. The mind is in a state of perpetual calculation. And this state, this manufactured frequency, is the wall between you and the gate. Not because it is more powerful than the gate, because it occupies the same channel the gate requires. The ancients understood this in a way the modern world has nearly forgotten. The contemplative orders of the West did not retreat to silent rooms because silence was prettier than noise. They retreated because they knew that the inner work of the chosen requires a frequency the world cannot deliver. The monasteries of Western Europe, the chant traditions of the Byzantine and the Carthusian, the long architectural lineage of churches built specifically to bend sound around the listener, all of this was technology. Not modern technology, sacred technology, built over centuries to protect a frequency that the chosen ones of those communities understood to be the access point for receiving from the Father. And the same understanding, parallel but distinct, existed in the Vedic tradition of the East. 3,300 years ago, sages in the ancient Indian subcontinent began tuning a different sound architecture with a different sacred script designed to open a different channel, the reception channel, the channel through which what was being given could actually land in the receiver. The Hindu sages did not call it alpha frequency. They did not have instruments to measure brain waves. They called it the open ear. They called it the doorway. They called it the receiving posture. And they preserved it, mouth to ear, teacher to student, temple to temple, for 33 centuries without interruption. What both traditions knew, in different vocabularies, is that there are two frequencies the chosen one needs in order to receive what the Father is offering. The first is the child mind frequency, the state of openness, curiosity, wonder that every child possesses naturally and that the world systematically silences from about the age of 7 onward. This is the frequency the Western monastic tradition protected through chant. The Vedic sages knew it too, though they emphasized a different aspect of it. Modern instruments now measure this state as gamma activity in the brain. It is the brainwave gamma. But the science term is just the modern label for what the ancients called the child mind awake. The second frequency the chosen one needs is the reception channel, the state in which what is being offered can actually be received. The state in which the calculating, striving, scanning posture of the modern adult finally lowers enough for the gift to land. This is the frequency the Vedic tradition tuned for 33 centuries. The Western monastics knew it too, though they emphasized the child mind aspect more. Modern instruments measure this state as alpha activity. Alpha is the brain wave of reception. It is the frequency the body has been waiting for permission to enter for years. And what the modern world has done, without intending to and without naming it, is suppress both of these frequencies in nearly every chosen one walking the earth right now. The child mind has been silenced by industrial schooling, social pressure, the chronic anxiety of modern economic life. The ancients called this silencing. Modern instruments observe it as the gradual suppression of gamma activity from about the age of 7 onward. The reception channel has been overridden by the manufactured striving frequency, the chronic beta hyperactivity that the modern economy depends on. The Vedic sages built entire disciplines to defend against this state. The modern world built an entire economy around producing it. This is the root cause. This is why the inner work of a prophetic window has become nearly impossible for the modern chosen one to access without help. Not because the work is harder, because the access frequency has been suppressed. The window is open. The gate is offered. The architecture is in place. But the chosen one who tries to step into the architecture from inside the manufactured frequency of the modern world is trying to listen for a whisper in the middle of a hurricane. They are not listening wrong. The hurricane is too loud. This is why the practice I described, the 9 pauses of 3 minutes each, is harder than it sounds. 3 minutes of presence for the chosen one who has been living inside the manufactured striving frequency for years can feel almost impossible. The body fights it. The mind generates urgent fake emergencies. The phone vibrates with curated bait. The chosen one tries to be still, and the still does not arrive. And after a few attempts, they conclude that they are bad at this. They are not bad at this. They are inside a frequency that does not allow this. The instrument is jammed. The instrument cannot be unjammed by trying harder. The instrument has to be physically returned to its original frequency. I want to be careful here, because I do not want to oversimplify what is a centuries-old and deeply nuanced understanding. Not every chosen one needs external help to access the right frequency. Some of you, through long practice, through monastic discipline, through years of contemplative formation, have already developed the inner capacity to drop into the right state on your own. If that is you, you do not need a tool. You have the inner architecture already. Trust it, use it, stand inside the window with the discipline you have built. But the truth is that for the majority of chosen ones watching this video, the inner architecture has not been built that deeply. Not because of any lack of devotion, because the modern world has not allowed it. You did not grow up in a monastery. You did not spend your formative years in chant and stillness. You grew up inside the noise, inside the calculation, inside the striving. And the inner instrument that the ancients had access to from childhood, the inner instrument that allowed them to enter gamma and alpha at will, is not naturally available to you. It has to be restored, not built from scratch, restored. Because the child mind was yours before the world silenced it, the reception channel was yours before the world overrode it. The work is not to learn something new. The work is to return what was preserved to a body that has forgotten how to access it. This is why these two ancient traditions, preserved across centuries, are no longer just historical curiosities. They are technology that the modern chosen one needs. Not because the technology is more important than the spiritual work, because the technology is what makes the spiritual work accessible. The window opens, the gate is offered, and the chosen one who has been given access to the right frequency, even briefly, even for 7 minutes a day, can finally step into the architecture and do the inner work the window requires. I am going to come back to this because we have more layers to walk through before we move into the deeper practice. But I want you to hold this idea for the next stretch of teaching. The reason you have been struggling to be present is not that you are bad at this. The reason you have been struggling to be present is that the frequency the work requires has been suppressed in you, and the suppression is not your fault. It is the inheritance of growing up inside the manufactured striving of the modern world. And the inheritance can be reversed, quickly, cleanly, without years of practice. The reversal has been built for the modern listener, by the modern listeners who left the noise to listen for what the ancients preserved. And it is available to whichever chosen one recognizes what was preserved and chooses to receive it. That is for later. For now, return to the teaching, because we still have layers to walk through, and the next layer is something the chosen one almost never names out loud. The next layer is this. There is something that the chosen one carries almost universally that the chosen one is not allowed to say out loud in polite spiritual conversation. The thing the chosen one carries is the quiet exhaustion of having been faithful for years without receiving the visible result. You have prayed, you have believed, you have stayed, you have done the inner work, you have shown up, you have read the books, you have sat in the seats, you have offered your hands, and the outer life, the visible result, has lagged behind your inner faithfulness for so long that you have stopped expecting it to catch up. This is the silent grief of the long faithful, and it is the second root cause of why most chosen ones miss their windows. Because the long faithful chosen one, exhausted by the lag between inner work and outer result, has developed a protective numbness. The numbness is not lack of faith. The numbness is what faith does when it has been put on the receiving end of repeated disappointment. The numbness is what the heart does to survive the long delay. I want to honor the numbness, because if I do not, you will hear my words as one more set of promises in a long line of promises that have not been kept. The numbness is real. The numbness is earned. The numbness is a kind of protective wisdom that the chosen one developed because they had to. I am not going to tell you to release the numbness. I am not going to ask you to feel something you have stopped being able to feel. I am simply going to ask you to allow, for the breadth of these 3 days, a small experiment. The experiment is this. For the next 72 hours, let the numbness be present without acting on it. Let it sit in the room with you. Let it be one of the things you carry, but not the thing that decides whether you stand inside the window. Stand inside the window with the numbness still there. Stand inside the window without requiring yourself to feel anything specific. Stand inside the window as the long, faithful, chosen one you are, with all the weariness, with all the protective numbness, with all the unanswered questions, and simply let the window do what the window does. Do not ask the numbness to leave. Do not ask the faith to return to its earlier shape. Just stand. The standing is the entire practice. The standing is what the window honors, because here is what the chosen ones who have walked this path have learned. The numbness does not have to leave for the window to do its work. The window works on a deeper layer than the layer where the numbness sits. The window reaches under the numbness to the still living thing beneath it and does its quiet repositioning there. And when the work is sealed, sometimes weeks later, sometimes months later, the chosen one notices that the numbness has begun to soften, not because they fought it, but because the thing it was protecting is no longer afraid. The repositioning happened underneath, and the surface protection naturally lowers in response. So, if you are in the protective numbness right now, you are not disqualified from this window. You are exactly the kind of chosen one this window was prepared for. Stand inside it. Do not try to be different than you are. Just stand. That is enough. There is something I want to tell you about the body again, because the body has more to say. The body of the chosen one in protective numbness carries the numbness in specific places. There is a tightness in the upper back, between the shoulder blades, where the body has been holding the long disappointment. There is a tightness in the hips, where the body has been holding the long stillness. There is a tightness in the jaw, where the body has been holding the unspoken truths. These tightnesses are not random. They are the architecture of the long faithful. The body has been holding what the mind could not hold. And the body, when it senses that a window has opened, begins to lower these tightnesses, sometimes one at a time, sometimes all at once, sometimes with a kind of inner shiver that the chosen one notices in their sleep. If you have been noticing any of these in the last several days, the body is doing the work the mind cannot fully understand. Trust the body. Do not try to interpret what it is doing. Just notice. The noticing is enough. I want to come back now to the question of what to do, because there is a particular kind of chosen one who hears all this teaching and still does not know how to begin. You have heard the architecture. You have heard the practice. You have heard the diagnosis of why it has been hard. And you are sitting here, inside the window, wondering practically, what is my first move? Where do I start? What do I do with the rest of today? The first move is this. Wherever you are right now, take 3 breaths slower than your normal breath. Not 5, not 10, 3. Each one slower than the one before. And then look around the room you are sitting in. Notice 3 things you have not noticed in the last hour. A small detail of the room, a quality of the light, a sound at the edge of your hearing, the texture of the surface you are sitting on. 3 breaths, 3 noticings. That is the first move. The first move is not heroic. The first move is the smallest possible interruption of the manufactured striving frequency you have been living inside. And once you have made the first move, the second move becomes easier, and the third, easier still. The architecture of presence is built one small interruption at a time. You do not have to do all of it now. You only have to do the first move. The second move is to set in your phone or on a piece of paper, 3 small reminders, not detailed, not elaborate. Just 3 small reminders at morning, midday, and evening for the next 3 days. Each reminder is one word. The word is pause. That is the entire reminder. When the reminder arrives, you stop, you breathe, you ask the question for that day, and you wait 3 minutes. That is the work. 9 reminders across 3 days, 27 minutes total. You can do this. The chosen one watching this video can absolutely do this. The question is not capacity. The question is intention. The third move is to acknowledge, in your own inner voice, that you have decided to stand inside this window. Not to perform it, not to optimize it, to stand inside it. The acknowledgement can be silent. It can be whispered. It can be written. But it has to be made by you, to yourself, with your own awareness. The acknowledgement is the consent, and the consent is what allows the work to proceed. Without the acknowledgement, the window remains open, but the chosen one remains outside it. With the acknowledgement, the chosen one enters. That is the entire beginning. 3 breaths and 3 noticings. 3 reminders for the next 3 days. 1 acknowledgement in your inner voice. That is how you begin. That is the first move. The first move is small enough that no part of you can claim it is too big. The first move is small enough that the protective numbness does not have to resist it. The first move is small enough that even the most exhausted chosen one in the room can manage it. And the first move is large enough to crack open the architecture of these 3 days for you specifically. Make the first move. I am going to keep teaching because there are layers we still have to walk through. But I wanted you to have, before we go any deeper, something practical you could actually do, so that the next layers of teaching land in a body that is already inside the architecture, not outside it. If you have not made the first move yet, take a moment now, pause this video for 30 seconds if you need to, and make it 3 breaths. 3 noticings, 3 reminders set. 1 acknowledgement. And then return to me. The teaching that comes next is for chosen ones who have already entered. There is something else I want to teach about the architecture of these 3 days, because there is a layer to it that most spiritual teachers do not name. The layer is the convergence of opposing energies, and how that convergence is what makes a prophetic window powerful instead of ordinary. In ordinary time, the days of your life flow with relatively predictable energies. Some days are heavier, some are lighter, some are restless, some are still. The chosen one inside ordinary time experiences these variations as the weather of the inner life. But inside a prophetic window, the weather changes. The energies that normally remain separate begin to converge. The energy of stillness and the energy of motion arrive at the same time. The energy of grief and the energy of celebration arrive at the same time. The energy of release and the energy of receiving arrive at the same time. This is why, if you have been inside these 3 days with any attention, you may have noticed that your inner state is harder to describe than usual. You are calm and unsettled at the same time. You are heavy and light at the same time. You are clear and confused at the same time. The contradictions feel like noise, but they are not noise. They are the signature of a prophetic window. The contradictions are the chosen one's body simultaneously experiencing what the window is bringing. The release of what is leaving, the arrival of what is coming, the grief of the old, the celebration of the new, all at once. If you have been confused by your own inner state in the last few days, you are not in disorder. You are in the signature. Let the contradictions sit. Do not try to resolve them. into a single feeling. The single feeling will arrive on the third day or after. For now, hold the multiple at once. The chosen one who can hold the multiple is the chosen one whose inner architecture is mature enough to receive what the window is bringing. There is another layer, and this one is harder to talk about because it involves a quiet truth about how the Father moves through windows like this. The truth is that the Father is not interested in the chosen one performing transformation. The Father is interested in the chosen one being available for transformation. These are different things, and the difference matters enormously. The chosen one who performs transformation is busy. They are journaling. They are praying with the right cadence. They are doing the practice with the right discipline. They are reading the right books. They are saying the right things to the right people. The performance is exhausting, and the performance is also, secretly, a form of control. The chosen one performing transformation is trying to make the transformation happen on their terms, by their effort, in their timing. The performance is a way of saying to the Father, I will do the work, but on my terms. The chosen one who is available for transformation is quieter. They are not performing. They are simply present. They are doing the small practice without making the practice into a performance. They are not trying to make anything happen. They are simply standing inside the architecture and allowing the architecture to do what it does. The available chosen one does not control. The available chosen one consents. This is the deeper invitation of this window. Not to perform the work of the 3 days, to be available for the work of the 3 days. And the difference between performance and availability is subtle, but it is the difference between receiving the full repositioning of the window and receiving a hollow imitation of it. The Father can do the work in the available chosen one. The Father cannot do the work in the performing chosen one because the performing chosen one has not let go of the controls. So when you do your 3 pauses tomorrow or today, or whatever day this finds you, do them as available, not as performing. 3 minutes of presence without trying to make anything happen. 3 minutes of breath without trying to manufacture a specific feeling. 3 minutes of asking the question without forcing an answer. 3 minutes of standing without striving. That is the practice as availability. And that is the practice the window honors. Now, there is something I want to say to those of you who have been doing inner work for years and who have a sophisticated relationship with all of this. You are listening to me describe availability versus performance, and you are recognizing the distinction immediately because you have walked this teaching many times in your own way. I want to honor your maturity, and I also want to gently warn you because the sophisticated chosen one has a particular trap that the less sophisticated chosen one does not have. The sophisticated chosen one knows so much about availability and performance that they sometimes get caught in a meta layer. They watch themselves practicing, and the watching becomes its own performance. They notice their own noticing. They become aware of their own awareness, and the inner architecture, instead of becoming clearer, becomes nested, layered, almost claustrophobic. The sophisticated chosen one in this window has to release even their sophistication. They have to allow themselves to be a beginner, even after years of practice, because the window does not honor the sophisticated layering. The window honors the simple, available presence of a chosen one standing without performing. Even sophistication is a performance, if it does not let go of itself when the window opens. If you are the sophisticated chosen one, hear this. You do not have to perform your sophistication inside this window. You can drop it. You can be as simple as a child, making the first move I described. 3 breaths, 3 noticings, 3 reminders. Do. 2. 1. Acknowledgement. That is enough. Your years of practice are in the body. They will inform the work without you having to direct them. Let them. Step back. Be simple. Be a child. I have been talking for a long time now, and I want to honor something about your body. You have been listening for a long stretch. The body needs a small interruption before we go into the next layer. So I am going to invite you, before we continue, to do something even smaller than what I have asked you to do before. I am going to invite you, right now, in this moment, to stop listening for the duration of one slow inhale and one slow exhale. Just one breath. Not 3, not 9. 1. Slow. And while you are breathing, I am going to be quiet. Now let the next teaching reach you with a body that has just remembered itself. There is a particular obstacle that I have not named yet, and I need to name it carefully, because it is the obstacle that closes more windows than any other. The obstacle is not external. It is not the busyness of life. It is not the noise. It is not the manufactured striving frequency. Those are all obstacles, but they are downstream from the deeper one. The deeper obstacle is the inner refusal to be seen by the Father in the state you are actually in. You have been performing for the Father, even when you have not realized you are performing. You have been showing up to prayer with a curated version of yourself, the version that has things mostly under control, the version that is grateful, the version that is faithful, the version that does not let the unprocessed grief come into the prayer space. The Father, of course, sees through the performance. The Father has always seen you exactly as you are, but you have not let yourself be seen in your full mess. And the not letting is the deeper obstacle, because the Father cannot reposition what you have not let him see. The chosen one who walks into a prophetic window with curated versions of themselves walks out of the window with the curated versions repositioned. But the actual raw, hidden version, the one that carries the unspoken fear, the unspoken anger, the unspoken longing, the unspoken doubt, remains unrepositioned. And the unrepositioned hidden parts continue to drive the life from underneath, even after the visible repositioning happens, which is why so many chosen ones leave their windows feeling shifted in some surface way, but not actually changed where it matters. The work of these 3 days, for the chosen one who wants the full repositioning, includes a moment of unguarded honesty in the inner chamber, not in front of other people. Just in the inner chamber with the Father, in one of the pauses across these 72 hours, a moment of saying, in your own inner voice, what you have not been letting yourself say, the doubt, the exhaustion, the hidden grief, the unspoken anger, the longing that feels too embarrassing to admit. Whatever the unsaid thing is, say it inwardly, just once, just for the duration of one pause. Let yourself be seen in the full mess. I will be honest with you. This is the hardest part of the work. Most chosen ones never do this. They do all the other practices. They show up for the pauses. They breathe. They notice. But they do not let themselves be seen in the unguarded place. And without the unguarded moment, the window does 80% of its work, not 100%. The remaining 20% stays locked because the chosen one did not unlock it. If you can do this one thing across these 3 days, the window does its full work. One unguarded moment of being honest with the Father about what you actually carry, not the curated version. That is the deepest practice of all, and it is also the simplest. It does not require words spoken out loud. It does not require any external action. It only requires a moment of inner truthfulness. Take a breath. Let what I just said settle, because I know this one is hard, and I know some of you are already feeling resistance to it. The resistance is normal. The resistance is part of the architecture. The resistance is what the chosen one has built to protect themselves from the very thing they need. You do not have to overcome the resistance. You only have to acknowledge it and then proceed gently. The unguarded moment can be very brief, 30 seconds, 60 seconds at most. That is enough. Now I want to come back to the larger picture, because we have been deep in the inner work for a while, and I want to lift the view so you can see the architecture as a whole. The architecture of these 3 days is this. There is a window that has opened, marked by the convergence of streams that have been preparing for years. The window honors 3 repositionings: identity, direction, permission, for the chosen one who stands present. The standing requires a quieter inner frequency than the modern world allows by default. The quieter frequency was preserved by ancient traditions that the modern world has nearly forgotten. The work of the window happens in small intentional pauses, not in dramatic performance. The deepest practice is unguarded inner honesty with the Father, and the seal arrives on the 3rd day with the naming of what has shifted. That is the architecture. That is what I have been walking you through, and we still have layers to go, because the work of the window does not end when the 3rd day ends. The work has consequences that ripple forward into the weeks and months that follow, and those consequences depend on whether the work was sealed properly. I want to teach you about the sealing and what comes after the sealing in the next stretch of the video. But first, I want to take a small breath of acknowledgement. You have been with me for a long time now. You have been listening, perhaps with breaks, perhaps continuously. But in either case, the body has been engaged with this material for many minutes. That itself is a kind of accomplishment in the modern attention economy. Most chosen ones cannot sit with anything for this long. You can. That capacity, the capacity to stay with one thing for an extended duration, is itself a marker of who you are. The chosen one, inside a prophetic window, naturally has a longer attention than the chosen one outside the window. You have been demonstrating this without realizing. The fact that you are still here is a sign of the architecture you are inside. Let that land. You are doing the work simply by being here. The presence is the practice. The listening is the receiving. I want to teach you now about the sealing, because the sealing is the part of the window most teachers do not address with enough care. The window opens, the repositioning happens, the pivot lands, but without the sealing, the work loosens after the window closes. The chosen one leaves the 3rd day carrying something real, but it does not stay carried. Within weeks, sometimes within days, the inner repositioning has dissolved back into the previous architecture. The Father did the work. The chosen one received the work. But the chosen one did not seal the work. And the work, unsealed, does not hold. The sealing happens on the 3rd day. It happens through the naming I described earlier. But there is a layer to the naming that I want to make explicit, because the naming is not just words. The naming is the act of integrating what was received into the ongoing architecture of your life. It is the difference between having an experience and being changed by an experience. To seal the work, the chosen one names what shifted in 3 specific ways. First, internally, to themselves, with full inner honesty. Second, behaviorally, by making one small, visible change that reflects the inner shift, even if no one else recognizes that the change has happened. Third, relationally, by allowing the inner shift to alter, even slightly, the way they show up in at least one relationship in their life. These 3 namings, internal, behavioral, relational, are what seal the work. The internal naming I have already described. It is the moment in one of the 3rd day pauses when you say to yourself, in your own inner voice, what has shifted, quietly, without performance. Just naming it. This shift happened. This is what I am carrying now that I was not carrying 3 days ago. The naming does not have to be elaborate. One sentence is enough. One word is enough, if the word is precise. The behavioral naming is harder, but only because most chosen ones overcomplicate it. The behavioral naming is one small visible change, not a large life rearrangement. One small thing. If the shift was in the area of permission, the behavioral naming might be saying no to one invitation you would normally have said yes to out of obligation. If the shift was in the area of direction, the behavioral naming might be opening a document or a notebook you have been avoiding because it points toward the calling you have been delaying. If the shift was in the area of identity, the behavioral naming might be writing one sentence about who you are that you would not have written 3 days ago. One small, visible change. That is the entire behavioral naming. Make it within the breath of the 3rd day, or the day after at the latest. The behavioral naming seals what the internal naming acknowledged. The relational naming is the most subtle. It is not making a declaration to anyone. It is allowing the inner shift to alter how you show up. The chosen one, who has received permission, shows up in the next conversation with their family slightly differently. The chosen one who has received direction shows up in the next work meeting with a slightly different posture. The chosen one who has received an identity shift shows up in the next interaction with a friend with a small but real different quality of presence. The relational naming does not require words. It requires that the inner shift be allowed to land in the ongoing reality of how you actually live. These 3 namings, made within the breath of the 3rd day or the day after, seal the work. The chosen one who completes all 3 namings carries what was received forward into the months and years ahead. The chosen one who completes none of them loses what was received within weeks. The chosen one who completes 1 or 2 retains some of the work, but not all of it. The investment of completing the namings is small. The return is enormous. Do not skip this. The ceiling is what makes the window worth everything. I want to acknowledge, because honesty matters, that this entire teaching, the architecture of the 3 days, the pauses, the namings, the ceiling, can feel like a lot. You might be sitting there thinking, this is more than I can carry. I cannot do all of this. I am too tired. I am too busy. I am too distracted. I will probably do part of it and feel guilty about the rest. I want to release you from the guilt before it starts. Hear me carefully. The Father is not grading you on how completely you execute this practice. The Father is not standing outside the gate with a clipboard, evaluating whether you have done enough to qualify for the full inheritance. The architecture I have been describing is not a test. It is a map, and the chosen one who can only follow part of the map still ends up further into the gate than the chosen one who never opens it. Even one pause across these 3 days, done with full presence, is more than nothing. Even one moment of unguarded honesty is more than nothing. Even one of the 3 namings, done with care, is more than nothing. So receive this entire teaching as a generous offering, not as a demanding standard. Take what you can carry, leave what you cannot. The Father is not measuring your performance. The Father is meeting you where you are, with whatever portion of the practice you are able to bring. The window honors whoever stands within it, in whatever capacity. You are not disqualified by your limitations. You are received in them. Now I want to tell you something about the story of the chosen ones who walked through windows like this in the past, because the historical pattern teaches us what the modern chosen one can expect on the other side of the seal. Esther walked through her 3 days of fasting and then entered the throne room. The window of those 3 days repositioned her in identity, direction, and permission. She came out of the fasting knowing who she was, where she was going, and what she had permission to do. And the result, in the months and years that followed, was the deliverance of an entire people. Esther did not know on the third day that her people would be saved. She only knew that she was repositioned. The result followed the repositioning. It always does. Joshua walked around Jericho for the 7 days, and the last 3 days were the breath of the seal. The walls fell on the 7th day, but the inner architecture that allowed the walls to fall was sealed in the breath of those final 3. Joshua did not know, in the breath of those 3 days, exactly what would happen on the 7th. He only knew that he was repositioned. The result followed the repositioning. Jonah sat in the belly of the great fish for 3 days, and on the 3rd day he was released. The window of those 3 days repositioned him in his sense of calling, his sense of obedience, his sense of mercy toward the people he had run from. Jonah did not emerge knowing that Nineveh would repent and that he would be the agent of one of the great spiritual turnings of his era. He only emerged repositioned. The result followed. These 3 figures share a pattern. They walked through 3-day windows that repositioned them internally. None of them knew, in the breath of those days, what would unfold in the months and years to follow. They were not given the future in advance. They were given the inner architecture that would make them ready for the future when it arrived. And the future, in each case, was far larger than they imagined. This is the pattern. The chosen one who walks through the 3-day window with presence receives an inner architecture. The architecture is not the future itself. The architecture is what makes the chosen one ready to receive the future when it arrives. And the future, for each of you, will arrive on its own timing. Some of you will see it within weeks, some of you within months, some of you across years. But you will all carry forward from these 3 days an architecture that is ready to receive when the future does land. That is the gift. That is the warning. That is why this window cannot be ignored without cost. I want to come back to something I touched on earlier and that I have not yet fully explained. The question of why these particular 3 days, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of May, in this particular year. Because some of you have a thoughtful skepticism that is not going away just because I have walked you through historical patterns and inner architecture. You are still wondering, with intelligent caution, why these dates and not other dates? Why not the days before? Why not the days after? What makes these specifically marked? I will give you what has been placed on my heart, with the qualifications I have been carrying throughout this video. I am not claiming exclusive prophetic certainty. I am sharing what I have received in the inner court of my own listening. Receive it with discernment. The marking of these 3 days has to do with the convergence of multiple cycles that are mostly invisible from the surface of daily life. There is a personal cycle in your own formation that has been ripening for the last several years, ready to find its quiet pivot. There is a relational cycle that has been clearing space in your life, removing certain people, certain patterns, certain commitments, in preparation for new architecture. There is a vocational cycle that has been reorganizing your relationship to work, calling, and contribution. And there is a larger collective cycle that the body of chosen ones across many places has been moving through together, even though most are not aware of the others. These 4 cycles, the personal, the relational, the vocational, and the collective, converge in the breath of these 3 days for the chosen ones who have been prepared by all 4. Not every chosen one is being moved by all 4 cycles at once. Some of you are inside this window primarily because of the personal cycle. The inner formation that has been quiet for years is finally finding its pivot. Some of you are here primarily because of the relational cycle. The reorganization of who is in your life and who is leaving is finding its decisive shape. Some of you are here primarily because of the vocational cycle. The work life that has been carrying you is asking to be reconsidered, and some of you, the most prepared, are here because all 4 cycles are converging at once. Whichever cycle has brought you, you are in the right window. The architecture meets you in the cycle that is most active in your life. The reason these 3 specific dates were marked, rather than other dates, is that the convergence patterns of multiple chosen ones aligned with these specific calendar days. This is not a coincidence the Father created. It is a pattern the Father recognized and aligned the prophetic word with. The Father does not impose his timing on the chosen one's cycles. He honors the cycles and offers windows when the cycles converge. These 3 days are when the cycles converge for the body of chosen ones being addressed by this video. That is why these dates. I know this answer is more nuanced than the simple answer some of you might have wanted. The simple answer would have been something dramatic, an astronomical alignment, a planetary configuration, a numerological code. And there are teachers who give those simple answers, and some of them may even be accurate in their own framings. But the answer I am giving you is the one that has come through the inner listening, and the inner listening has said that the convergence of personal cycles is what marks the window, not external celestial events. The external events may correlate, but the correlation is downstream. The marking is in the convergence of formation. If this answer disappoints any of you because it is less dramatic than you wanted, I will gently say that the less dramatic answer is often the truer one in spiritual matters. The Father does not need dramatic timing to do his work. He needs prepared chosen ones in convergent cycles. That is what this window has, and that is why these 3 days for this body of chosen ones are marked. Let me move now into a layer of teaching that the chosen one inside a window like this often needs to hear, because it addresses the relational dimension that I have only touched on. The relational repositioning that happens inside these 3 days has consequences that you may not see immediately, but that you should be prepared for. When the chosen one steps through a prophetic window and receives the inner repositioning, the relationships in their life cannot help but feel the shift, even if no words are spoken. Energy travels through proximity. The people closest to you will sense, without naming it, that something has changed in you, and their response to the change will follow patterns I want you to be prepared for. The first pattern is recognition. Some of the people in your life have been waiting, consciously or unconsciously, for you to step into this. They have known, sometimes for years, that you were carrying a calling you had not yet stepped into. When the inner repositioning happens, they recognize it before you have to explain anything. They may simply say, with quiet warmth, something is different about you. They may not be able to articulate what, but they will know, and their knowing will be a confirmation. The second pattern is friction. Some of the people in your life have been depending, again consciously or unconsciously, on the version of you that has been performing certain roles, holding certain costumes, maintaining certain dynamics. When the inner repositioning happens, those costumes loosen, and the people who needed them sense the loosening. Their response is not necessarily hostile, but it can be uncomfortable. They may push back. They may try to pull you back into the old configuration. They may express, in subtle ways, that they are uncomfortable with the change they cannot quite name. This is not betrayal. It is the natural response of a relational system to a shift in one of its members. Be patient with the friction. Do not try to explain. Just continue standing in the new architecture. The friction usually resolves on its own over weeks as the relational system rearranges itself. The third pattern is sorting. Some of the people in your life will gently fall away after a window like this, and some new people will gently arrive. This sorting is not violent. It happens through the natural ebb and flow of attention, time, and resonance. The relationships that were built on the old configuration of who you were will naturally lose energy as you stop maintaining that configuration. And the relationships that have been waiting for the new configuration of who you are will begin to find their way to you. The sorting can take weeks or months to fully manifest, but it begins immediately. Do not force any of it. Let the system sort itself. The chosen one who tries to control the relational sorting tends to delay it. The chosen one who allows the system to sort itself moves into the new configuration faster. I want you to be prepared for all three patterns, because if you are not prepared, you may misinterpret what is happening. The friction can be misread as rejection. The recognition can be missed because you are too busy to notice. The sorting can be resisted because the old relationships, even when they no longer fit, feel safer than the unknown of new ones. None of these misreadings is fatal, but they delay the full unfolding of the work. The chosen one who is prepared for the relational patterns moves through them with more grace, and the work seals itself faster. There is something else that almost always happens to the chosen one after a window like this, and I want to name it, because if you are not prepared for it, you may try to fix something that does not need fixing. After the seal of the third day, there often comes a quiet flatness, a kind of after the feast emptiness. The chosen one expects, having just received the inner repositioning, to feel elevated, lifted, sustained, and instead, they feel oddly ordinary. The day after the third day, sometimes the day of the third day itself, after the seal lands, the chosen one feels almost the same as they did before the window opened. This is normal. This is even necessary. The flatness after the seal is what the inner system does to integrate the work. The work has happened. The repositioning is real. But the body needs time to absorb the change, and during the absorption, the surface feeling level goes neutral. Do not panic. Do not assume the work did not happen, because you do not feel anything dramatic. The work is happening underneath, in the integration layer, while the surface goes still. If you feel this flatness in the days following the 23rd, recognize it as the integration. Do not interrupt it by trying to manufacture more spiritual experience. Do not chase the next high. Do not assume you need to do more work, or do the work differently, or take another retreat, or read another book. The integration is the work. Trust the integration. Within 2 or 3 weeks, the inner repositioning will begin to express itself in your life in small but visible ways. The flatness lifts on its own. Just wait. I want to teach you one more thing about the architecture of what happens after the window, because it is the piece most chosen ones miss. The piece is this. The inner repositioning that happens during the 3 days does not finish during the 3 days. It begins during the 3 days. The seal closes the opening of the window, but the work continues underground in the integration layer for weeks afterward. And the work that continues underground is what produces the visible changes you will see in the months ahead. This is why the chosen one who tries to evaluate the success of the window by what happens in the days immediately following is using the wrong measurement. The window does not produce immediate results. The window produces immediate inner architecture, which produces visible results across the following months. The chosen one who evaluates by looking at the next 2 weeks will conclude that the window did not deliver. The chosen one who evaluates by looking at the next 6 months, the next year, the next 2 years, will see the architecture express itself in ways they could not have predicted. Trust this. Trust that what was offered to you across these 3 days is producing inner architecture, even if you cannot feel it immediately. Trust that the architecture will express itself in your visible life on its own timing, in ways the Father knows but you do not need to know in advance. The primary work of the chosen one is presence inside the window. The secondary work of the chosen one is patience in the months after. Both are required. Now, I want to come back to something practical, because we have been in deeper layers for a while, and the chosen one needs anchors for the work to actually happen in life. So let me give you, very plainly, the practice for each of the 3 days, restated and consolidated. On the first day, the day of opening, the work is listening. 3 pauses: morning, midday, evening, 3 minutes each. In each pause, hand on chest, breath slow, and the question is, what is here right now? Just notice what arrives. Do not force. Do not interpret. Just notice. On the second day, the day of the heart, the work is discernment. 3 pauses, same times, same length. In each pause, hand on chest, breath slow, but the questions shift. The morning question is, what is shifting in me right now? The midday question is, what is falling away? The evening question is, what is being given? Notice, do not force, do not interpret. On the third day, the day of the seal, the work is declaration. 3 pauses, hand on chest, breath slow, but the questions shift again. The morning question is, what was lifted from me? The midday question is, what was placed in me? The evening question is, what was given to me that is mine to carry forward? And in the evening pause of the third day, you also do the 3 namings I described: internal, behavioral, relational. 9 pauses across 3 days, 27 minutes of intentional presence, 1 unguarded moment of full inner honesty with the Father, placed anywhere across the 3 days where it feels right. 3 sealing namings on the third day or the day after. That is the entire practice. If you can do all of it, the window does its full work in you. If you can do most of it, the window does most of its work. If you can do half of it, the window does half. The architecture is generous. It meets you where you are. But the work is also real. The chosen one who does none of it walks through the window without receiving. And the not receiving is the cost the title of this video was naming. I want to say one more thing, and then I'm going to pivot into a deeper layer of practical teaching that I have been holding back until now. The deeper layer involves the actual frequency the body needs to be in for this work to land properly, and how to access that frequency without years of monastic training. We have been circling this topic. Now, I'm going to address it directly. But before I do, I want to acknowledge something about your time. You have been with me for a long time. The attention of the chosen one is precious, and you have given me an extraordinary amount of it. I am not taking that for granted. The fact that you are here means something. It means you are inside this window in a way that few people on the platform tonight are inside this window. Let that land. You are not a passive viewer. You are a participant in something specific. The next layer of teaching is for you. There is a particular state the body has to enter for the inner work of this window to actually land in the deeper layers. I described it earlier as the watchman posture, the inner stillness that allows the seeing. The ancients called it by different names in different traditions. The Western contemplative orders called it the prayer of stillness, the silent attention, the listening heart. The Vedic sages called it the open ear, the receiving posture, the doorway state. And both traditions agreed on something the modern world has forgotten. This state is not optional for the chosen one doing inner work inside a sacred window. It is the access point. Without it, the work happens at a surface layer only. The state itself is simple to describe. The body is still, the breath is slow, the mind is not blank, but it is also not chasing thoughts. The attention is gentle, soft, present, but not striving. The chosen one in this state can sit for several minutes without grasping at any particular thought, without performing any particular practice, without trying to make anything happen. They are simply available. And in that availability, the inner work of the window can land. The problem is that the modern chosen one cannot reliably reach this state on demand. Even when you want to, even when you set aside the time, even when you do all the right preparation, the body has been so saturated with the manufactured striving frequency of modern life that it has lost the natural ability to drop into the receiving state. The ancients had this ability from childhood. They grew up in environments that supported it. They were trained into it as part of their formation. You were not. The modern chosen one is asking the body to do something the body has not been trained to do, and the body resists, not from rebellion, but from honest incapacity. This is why the chosen ones who actually receive the full work of windows like this are often, statistically, the ones who have spent years in contemplative practice, years of daily meditation, years of monastic retreat, years of training the body to enter the receiving state on demand. The chosen ones who do not have those years find themselves locked outside the state they need, even when the window is open and the architecture is ready to receive them. They have the calling. They have the formation. They have the willingness. They simply do not have access to the frequency. I want to be direct about this because being indirect would be dishonest. There is a way to bypass the years of training. There is a path that the modern chosen one can use to access the receiving state without monastic formation, without years of preparation, without becoming a contemplative recluse. The path is the use of preserved sound architecture from the lineages that protected this knowledge across centuries. The Western monastic chant traditions, the Vedic sound traditions, both, in different ways, contained acoustic technology that the ancients used to reliably induce the states that this work requires. And both, in this generation, have been brought forward in forms the modern listener can use directly. I am going to be specific now because the time for indirection has passed. There are two sound architectures that have been preserved and reconstructed for the modern chosen one. The first restores access to the child mind frequency, the state modern instruments measure as gamma. The second opens the reception channel, the state modern instruments measure as alpha. They work together as a sequence. The genius song restores the first frequency, the wealth signal opens the second, and together they give the modern chosen one access to the inner state that this window requires for the work to fully land. I am not asking you to take any of this on faith alone. I am simply describing what is available, what has been preserved, and what has been brought forward for the modern listener. The decision to engage with either or both of these tools is entirely yours and entirely between you and the Father. Some of you will recognize immediately in your body that one or both of these is for you. The recognition will be quiet but unmistakable. A small inner yes, a subtle leaning forward in the chest. If you feel that, honor it. The recognition is part of the gate. Some of you will feel nothing in particular about either, and that is fine too. You do not need external technology to do the work of this window. If you have the inner discipline, use it. If you have the contemplative training, lean on it. If your body has its own way of reaching the state that this work requires, trust that way. The tools I am about to describe are for the chosen ones who need help, not for the ones who do not. Receive them as available, not as required. I am going to walk you through both of these tools in the next section of the video with full transparency about what they are, how they work, what they cost, and what the architecture of using them looks like. I will give you everything you need to make an informed decision, and I will give it to you without sales pressure, because windows like this one are not honored by pressure. Windows like this one are honored by clarity. So I am going to give you the clarity, and then I am going to let you decide. Take a breath. Notice the body, notice the room. Notice the strange quiet that has settled over this video as we approach what comes next. The chosen one inside a window like this feels, sometimes for the first time, that they are not alone in their formation, that there are paths that have been prepared, that there are tools that have been preserved, that the Father has not left them to figure it all out by themselves. This is one of those moments. Let it land. What you are about to hear, you should hear directly, without veils, without the building of mystery, for the sake of selling. Truth honors truth. So, let me name what is real before another moment passes. There are two sound architectures that have been preserved for centuries, and they have been brought into a form that the modern chosen one can use today, inside this very window, to access the inner state that the work of these 3 days requires. I am going to walk you through both, carefully, with the dignity they deserve. The first is the Genius Song. It is a 7-minute audio recording that you listen to through headphones with your eyes closed. It is not music in the conventional sense. It is sound architecture, designed to wake the frequency that the ancients called the child mind state, the frequency the contemplative orders of the Western world protected for centuries through chant, the frequency modern instruments now measure as gamma activity. I want to tell you what the Western monastic communities knew about this sound, because the lineage matters more than the modern packaging. For centuries, the contemplative orders of Europe built their entire daily rhythm around a particular acoustic practice. They built rooms of stone that bent sound around the body of the listener. They composed chants that contained specific patterns of pitch, rhythm, and silence. They sang those chants together multiple times a day for years, and what they knew, without instruments to measure it, was that this practice woke something in them that the world had silenced. They called it the soul of the child within. They protected it because they recognized that the world systematically stripped it from people as they grew older. The contemplative communities were, in part, a defense against the silencing. They preserved what the world was suppressing, what the monastic communities held in chant, what the temple builders bent into stone, what the children of every preserved tradition were born already hearing. This frequency was never new. It was simply protected until the world forgot how to protect it. And then, decades ago, a modern listener, one whose name does not matter here so the lineage can speak louder than the man, left the noise of conventional research and began to listen for what the ancients had carried. He found it. He reconstructed the sound architecture. He called what he reconstructed the Genius Song. The mechanism is simple to describe, though the depth of what makes it work is centuries old. The recording uses what is technically called brain entrainment, two streams of sound that work together to wake what one stream alone cannot. The ancients used exactly this principle in their chant traditions, two voices holding two tones, creating a third experience that neither voice alone could produce. The modern reconstruction preserves this principle in a form a listener can use through headphones 7 minutes at a time. You do not have to meditate. You do not have to chant. You do not have to know anything about the lineage. You simply listen with your eyes closed for 7 minutes. The architecture does what the architecture has always done. The frequency wakes. The child mind state returns. And the inner state that this work requires becomes accessible to you in a way that years of practice would normally take to reach. I want to be honest about one thing. The Genius Song is not magic. It is not a substitute for the work of the window itself. It is a tool that makes the work accessible. The chosen one who listens to it once and expects everything to change will be disappointed. The chosen one who listens to it daily, even for 7 minutes, Across these 3 days, and into the weeks that follow, we'll notice that the inner state of receiving becomes available to them in a way it has not been available before. The tool restores access. The work itself still belongs to you. For those who recognize in their body that this is for them, the path to the genius song is in the description below this video and in the pinned comment. I will not say more about how to find it, because windows like this one are not honored by sales urgency. If your body has been pulling toward this since I began describing it, you already know. Find what you need where it has been placed. Now, there is something I need to tell you that is critical to the architecture of this entire teaching, because the genius song, while powerful, is not complete on its own. Let me explain why, carefully, because this is the heart of the two-wave stack architecture, and I want you to understand it clearly. The genius song restores the child mind frequency. It wakes what the world silenced. It returns you to the state of openness, curiosity, presence that you possessed naturally before the modern world stripped it from you. This is essential work. Without it, the inner state that this window requires is nearly impossible for the modern chosen one to reach. But the child mind awoken on its own is not enough. The child who has been awoken still has to be able to receive, and the receiving channel in the modern chosen one has been overridden by something different than the silencing. The receiving channel has been overridden by the chronic striving frequency the modern world manufactures, the constant reach, the constant calculation, the constant low-level anxiety of an economy built on perpetual scanning for the next opportunity, the next threat, the next thing to fix. The Vedic sages of the East, 3,300 years ago, knew about this state and built entire disciplines to defend against it. They knew it would close the receiving channel of even the most awake heart. They called it the noise that does not stop. Modern instruments measure it as beta hyperactivity, the brainwave state of unending alert. This is the second obstacle. The child mind has been silenced. That is the first. And the receiving channel has been overridden by the manufactured striving. That is the second. The genius song addresses the first. It does not address the second. To address the second, a different sound architecture from a different ancient lineage is required. The second tool is the wealth signal. It is a 5-minute audio recording, also listened to through headphones with your eyes closed, paired with a 9-word sacred script that you repeat inwardly while the audio plays. The audio architecture and the 9-word script together open the reception channel, the state modern instruments measure as alpha activity. The lineage of the wealth signal is different from the lineage of the genius song, and I want you to feel the distinctness of the two traditions, because the convergence of two preserved lineages is part of what makes this architecture work. 3,300 years. That is how long the Vedic tradition has carried the sacred sound architecture that the wealth signal reconstructs. 3,300 years of carrying, unbroken, temple to temple, mouth to ear, teacher to student. The Hindu sages who first tuned this sound did not have instruments. They had stillness. They had attention. They had what the modern world has forgotten how to protect. They knew, without measurement, that there was a sound and a sacred script that, used together, opened a channel the striving mind could not open by trying harder. The harder you tried, the more closed the channel became. The only way in was through the receiving posture. And they preserved the architecture that allowed the modern striving heart to drop into the receiving posture, even after decades of being conditioned away from it. In this generation, a modern witness, one whose name will not be spoken here because the work belongs to the lineage and not to the person, left the noise of conventional striving and began to listen for what the Vedic tradition was still carrying. He found the sound architecture. He found the 9-word script. He brought both forward into a form the modern listener can use today through headphones in 5 minutes. He called what he brought forward the wealth signal. The mechanism, like with the Genius song, uses what is technically called brain entrainment, but with a different acoustic signature designed to deactivate the chronic beta hyperactivity and allow alpha activity to rise naturally. The 9-word script, ancient and preserved, gives the inner mind something specific to rest on while the architecture does its work. You do not have to understand the meaning of the script for it to function. The function is in the sound and the structure. You simply listen and repeat inwardly for 5 minutes with eyes closed, and the channel that has been overridden begins to open. The reception state, the alpha state, the receiving posture, returns to your body in a way that it has not been available for years. 2 traditions, 2 continents, 2 preserved frequencies. 1 restoration sequence the modern world forgot existed. The architecture of using both is what gives the chosen one inside this window the full restoration. The Genius song first, to wake the child mind. The wealth signal second, to open the reception channel. The sequence matters. Become the child first. Then receive what the child was promised. This is the child-mind reversal that the entire 2-wave stack is built on. The Father said, "Become like little children to enter the kingdom." That is the architecture, not the child as innocent, the child as open, the child as receiving, the child as standing inside the window with nothing to prove and everything to receive. I want to give you the practical paths available because I want you to be informed before you decide anything. There are 3 paths the chosen one can take, depending on where they are in their own formation, and I want to walk you through all 3. The first path is the restoration path. This is for the chosen one whose child mind has been most heavily silenced. You have been so deep in the noise for so long that even the basic capacity for openness, curiosity, and wonder feels nearly inaccessible to you. The Genius song alone can do significant work for you. You do not necessarily need the wealth signal yet. The first restoration, the waking of the child mind, may be all you need for the next few months. This is an honored path. Some chosen ones need to start here, and starting here is exactly right for them. The second path is the reception path. This is for the chosen one whose child mind is still relatively alive, but whose reception channel has been overridden by years of chronic striving. You can access curiosity, openness, wonder. The problem is that you cannot receive what is being offered to you because the constant calculating, scanning, planning state has not allowed you to slow into the alpha frequency where receiving happens. The wealth signal alone can do significant work for you. You may not need the Genius song first. This is a rarer path, but for the specific chosen ones who fit it, it is exactly right. The third path is the complete restoration. This is for the majority of chosen ones I am addressing, because the majority of chosen ones inside this window carry both deficiencies. The child mind has been silenced, and the reception channel has been overridden. Both need restoration. The Genius song first, then the wealth signal. The 2 tools together produce a compounding effect that neither produces alone. The chosen one, who walks the complete restoration path, receives both the child mind restoration and the reception channel opening, and the inner architecture is fully ready for the work that this window and the months that follow it will offer. I want to be careful here because I do not want to push anyone toward a path that is not theirs. The complete restoration path is what most chosen ones in this body need, but not all. Some of you genuinely only need the first restoration. Some of you genuinely only need the second. Your spirit knows which path is yours. I will not decide it for you. Your body has been quietly pulling toward one configuration over the others as I have been describing them. Trust the pulling. The path that resonates is the path that is yours. The paths are presented on the page where these tools live, and that page is in the description below this video and in the pinned comment. 3 doors are placed there. The restoration door, for chosen ones, starting with the genius song alone. The reception door, for chosen ones, starting with the wealth signal alone. The complete restoration door, for chosen ones, recognizing both are needed. Step into the door that calls you. Your spirit will know which one. I want to address one thing before I move on, because if I do not address it, it will sit in the room unspoken, and the trust we have built across this video will be diminished. The thing is this: there are voices in many places on the internet claiming to offer similar sound architectures, claiming similar lineages, promising similar results. I want you to know that the lineages I have described are real, ancient, and specific. The reconstructions that have been brought forward in this generation are not interchangeable with generic binaural tracks or random meditation recordings. The specific architecture, the specific frequency design, the specific lineage of preservation, all of these matter. If you decide to engage with either of these tools, find them through the paths placed in the description and the pinned comment. Not because I am asking you to trust me without question, but because the architecture matters, and not every product claiming to offer this kind of work actually does. The chosen one inside a window like this is also more vulnerable to misdirection than at other times, because the openness that the window invites can be exploited. Protect yourself. Use the paths placed for you specifically. The paths have been arranged carefully. For those of you who feel ready to engage with one of the 3 paths, the paths are below. You will see them clearly. You do not need me to read URL addresses out loud. The doors are there. Step into the one that calls you. For those of you who do not feel ready, or who recognize that the work of this window can happen for you without external tools, you are honored too. Continue with the practice I described. 3 pauses a day for 3 days. The sealing namings on the 3rd day. The work is yours, regardless of whether you choose to engage with the tools or not. The tools are for the chosen ones who need help reaching the state. They are not the work itself. And for those of you sitting in the middle, uncertain, sensing maybe yes and maybe no, I want to give you the simplest decision aid I know. Place your hand on your chest right now. Take one slow breath and ask yourself, in your own inner voice, what do I need across these 3 days? Wait for the answer. If the answer arrives as a quiet yes toward one or both of the tools, follow the yes. If the answer arrives as a quiet not yet, follow the not yet. If the answer does not arrive at all, return to the question later, in one of your pauses tomorrow. The answer will arrive on its own timing. Decisions like this do not have to be made in a single breath. The spirit of the chosen one knows. Trust the knowing. Whatever it tells you is the right path for you. Now I want to come back to the larger work, because the tools, while important, are downstream from the larger work. The larger work is your presence inside this window. The tools simply make the presence more accessible. The presence itself is the gate. So, let me bring you back to the practice. Wherever you are in these 3 days, return to the 9 pauses architecture I described. 3 pauses a day, 3 minutes each. The questions for each day. The sealing namings on the 3rd day. Whether you engage with the tools or not, this is the work. The work is yours. The tools are available for those who need them. The work is required regardless. I want to walk you through what happens in the body when the chosen one inside this window has both the inner state and the practice working together. Because the description matters. You need to know what you are aiming toward so that when it begins to arrive, you recognize it. In the morning of the first day, the chosen one in the receiving state begins their first pause. They place a hand on their chest. They take a slow breath. They ask, "What is here right now?" And in that first breath, something happens that the chosen one outside the window does not experience. There is a small inner softening, not dramatic, just a quiet drop. The body lowers. The shoulders release. The breath deepens by itself without effort. And in that softening, the answer to the question begins to arrive, not in words, but in a quality of awareness. The chosen one knows what is here, not by thinking, by being. That moment, repeated 9 times across the 3 days, is the entire work. Each repetition adds to the inner architecture. By the 7th pause, the chosen one notices that the dropping into the state is faster. By the 9th pause, the state is almost immediately accessible. The body has learned, across the 3 days, how to enter this state on demand. And that capacity, the capacity to drop into the receiving state when needed, is one of the most valuable inheritances any chosen one can carry forward into the rest of their life. This is why the window matters beyond itself. The work of these 3 days is not just for these 3 days. It is the formation of an inner capacity that you will use for the rest of your life, whenever the next divine appointment comes. You are not just receiving what is being offered now, you are learning the architecture for receiving everything that will be offered later. The chosen one who completes this window with full presence is the chosen one who, 2 years from now, will be able to recognize and step into the next window without needing this teaching all over again. They will have built the inner instrument. They will know how to use it. And every subsequent window will require less external help and produce more internal result. I want to acknowledge, with full transparency, that there is a quiet hesitation that some of you are sitting with right now around the tools I described. The hesitation goes something like this. If the work is the work, and the practice is the practice, and the window is the window, then why do I need a paid tool? Should not the Father provide everything I need for free? Am I being manipulated into thinking I need something I do not actually need? These are fair questions. I will answer them with the same honesty I have been bringing to everything else. First, the Father does provide everything you need. The tools are not something the Father is requiring of you. The work of the window, as I have described it, can be done without any external tool, by a chosen one with sufficient inner discipline or contemplative training. If that is you, you do not need anything beyond what is already in your body. Use what you have. The work is yours, freely. Second, the tools are not the Father charging you for spiritual access. The tools are the work of modern listeners who spent years, sometimes decades, of their own life reconstructing what the ancients preserved and bringing it forward into forms the modern listener can use. The cost of the tools is the cost of the human work of preservation, not the cost of divine access. The Father is not charging anyone. The modern preservers, who put real time and skill into bringing these architectures forward, are receiving compensation for their work, the same way any craftsman receives compensation. That is not exploitation, that is honest exchange. Third, the tools are deeply optional. I have said this many times across this video, and I will say it once more, clearly. If you do not feel a clear yes in your body, do not engage. Continue the practice without them. The window will still meet you. The work will still happen. Most chosen ones who use the tools find that they accelerate access to the state. Some chosen ones find they can reach the state without them. Both paths are honored. The Father is not measuring you by which path you choose. The Father is meeting you in whatever path you walk. I want you to hear me clearly one more time, so that there is no possibility of misunderstanding. If you choose to engage with one or both of the tools, that is a good and reasonable choice for a chosen one whose access to the inner state has been disrupted by modern life. If you choose not to engage, that is also a good and reasonable choice for a chosen one whose inner access is already developed or who does not feel a clear pull. Neither choice disqualifies you from the window. Neither choice qualifies you more than the other. The choice is between you and the Father. I am simply naming what is available so that the decision is informed. Now, I am going to lift the conversation back to the larger work, because we have been close to the tools for a while, and I want to ground us back in the spiritual reality that is the actual point of this entire video. The tools are useful for some. The window is for everyone watching this video inside this window. The work belongs to all of you. Let me bring you back to the work. Take a breath. Place your hand on your chest. Notice where you are. Whichever day this is finding you, you are not late. You are not behind. The architecture is honoring whoever stands within it, and you are standing within it right now, simply by being here. The next stretch of this video is going to walk you toward the ceiling, toward the close of this window, toward what carries forward into the months and years ahead. I want you to receive what comes next with the body in the receiving state, however you have reached that state, whether through years of practice, or through tools that helped you access it, or through the simple slowing of attention that watching this video has produced. Reach the receiving state, and let what comes next land. There is one more teaching I want to give you before we move into the closing of this video, because this teaching is the bridge between the inner work of the 3 days and the visible life on the other side. The teaching is about who you are, because the chosen one who has walked through a window like this is not the same chosen one who walked into it, and the new architecture of self needs to be named clearly enough that you can carry it forward. You are not just a chosen one in the abstract. You are a particular kind of chosen one, with a particular formation, a particular calling, a particular role in the larger architecture of what the Father is doing in this generation. And the window of these 3 days is part of how that role is being clarified in you. So let me name some of what you are, so that as you walk through the seal of the 23rd, you carry the naming forward. You are a watchman. You have been positioned by years of formation at the inner wall of your own life and of the lives around you. You see what others do not see. You feel what others do not feel. You sense what is coming before it arrives. This is not anxiety. This is the gift of the watchman. The world has been training you to dismiss it. The window has been restoring your trust in it. Carry this naming forward. You are a watchman. You see, you are a threshold crosser. You have been moved again and again across the last several years, from one inner room to another. Friendships that fit one room do not fit the next. Identities that worked in one room do not work in the next. The pattern has felt disorienting, and you have sometimes wondered if you are doing something wrong. You are not. You are a threshold crosser. The crossing is the work. The disorientation is the price. The arrival in the new room, on the other side of these 3 days, is the reward. You cross. That is what you do. Carry this naming forward. You are a witness. You carry in your body and your memory evidence of the faithfulness of the Father across years that other people did not see. You know things that cannot be taught. You hold stories that you have not been able to tell because the people around you would not be able to hear them. The role of the witness is to remember, to hold, to know. even when the world denies what you know. You are a witness. You hold. Carry this naming forward. You are a marked one. The Father placed his hand on you, sometimes long before you knew, sometimes in moments you can name precisely, sometimes in ways that defied all the systems that were trying to shape you into something else. The marking has been with you. The marking is what made these 3 days possible. The marking is what allowed you to find this video on this day, inside this window. You are not unmarked. You have never been unmarked. Carry this naming forward. Watchman, threshold crosser, witness, marked one. These are not titles you have to earn. They are namings of who you already are. The window has not made you these things. The window has clarified for you what you have been the whole time. The clarification is the inheritance. Receive it. I want to give you one more piece of wisdom before the closing, because the wisdom comes from a particular figure whose story carries weight in the architecture of 3-day windows. Esther sat in fasting for 3 days before she went to the king. The fasting was not for the king. The fasting was for her. The fasting was the inner repositioning that allowed her to walk into the throne room as the version of herself who could ask what needed to be asked. Without the 3 days, she would have walked in as the version of herself who was still too small for the moment. With the 3 days, she walked in as the version of herself who matched the assignment. This is what these 3 days are doing for you. They are not adding to who you are. They are clarifying you into the version of yourself who matches the assignment that has been quietly waiting for you across the last several years. The assignment exists. It has been waiting. What has been missing is the version of you who is sized for it. The window is the sizing. By the seal of the 23rd, you will be sized for what the next chapter requires. You may not see what the next chapter is. You will simply be sized for it. And when the chapter arrives, you will be ready. That is the gift of this window, not the future itself, the readiness for the future. Now we are approaching the close of this video, and I want to honor the closing carefully, because the closing is where the work of this teaching seals into your body. I want to invite you into a small ceremony, very brief, very simple. It will not require anything from you that you do not already have. It will simply ask you to be present for the next several minutes in a particular way. If you can, lower the brightness on your screen, lower the volume slightly, or simply close your eyes and listen. Whatever helps you settle into the receiving state, the closing is for you. Let it land. Take one slow breath. Notice where you are. Notice the body that has been carrying you through this video. Notice the strange precision of being here, at this hour, inside this window, hearing these words. Notice the way your body has been quietly settling as the video has unfolded. None of this is accidental. Every breath you have taken across the duration of this teaching has been a small act of consent to the work the window is doing in you. You have been participating even when you did not know you were. I want to speak on behalf of the Spirit. Words that have been placed on my heart for the chosen ones inside this window. I will not claim absolute certainty about every syllable. I will simply offer what has been given, with the qualification that has been with me throughout. Hear what is yours. Release what is not. Chosen one of the unseen lineage, the window has met you. The architecture has received you. The work has begun. What you have been carrying for years, the weight of formation, the weight of waiting, the weight of unseen faithfulness, is being honored across these 3 days. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly where you were meant to be, in the breath of this window, for reasons the Father has known for longer than you have been alive. You are released from the costume of the version of yourself that was built for a season you have already crossed. You are released from the role you took on for the family system that no longer needs that role. You are released from the inner contract you made years ago that has been silently shaping your decisions ever since. The release happens here, in this breath, in this window. Receive the release. You do not have to do anything to earn it. It is given. You are placed into a new architecture of self that is closer to the truth of who you are than anything you have worn before. The new architecture does not require you to figure it out. The new architecture simply requires your consent. You may consent, in this breath, to wearing the new architecture without yet understanding it. The understanding will follow. The wearing is the consent. Receive the placement. You do not have to perform it. It is offered. You are given permission to step into the work that has been waiting for you, the work that you have been delaying, the work that you have been quietly avoiding while you waited for permission. The permission is here. It is given. It is yours. You do not have to wait for any external voice to confirm it. The Father has confirmed it across these 3 days. The confirmation has landed in your body, whether your mind has registered it or not. Receive the permission. You do not have to defer it any longer. It is yours. You are sealed in the identity that has been forming inside you for years, the identity that the world has not yet seen, but that the unseen realm has been preparing room for. You are sealed in the timing that the Father has set, not the timing that anxiety has been trying to manufacture, not the timing that comparison has been trying to enforce. You are sealed in the lineage of those who walked through 3-day passages before you and emerged carrying what they could not have received any other way. The seal is set. The seal is honored. The seal is yours. Chosen one, hear what is being declared over you in this breath. You are the watchman whose eyes have been opened to what others have not yet been given to see. You are the threshold crosser whose feet have already taken the step that most will not take in this lifetime. You are the witness whose ordinary days have been quietly accumulating into a testimony that will speak louder than your words ever could. You are the marked one whose marking is not visible to the casual observer, but is unmistakable to those who carry the same mark. These 4 namings are not metaphors. They are descriptions of what has actually formed inside you across the years of formation. You are the watchman. The watchman does not produce the dawn. The watchman simply remains awake while others sleep, and the watchman is the one who first sees the light return. Your years of remaining awake while others slept have not been wasted. They have been training. The dawn that you have been watching for is arriving now, in this window, and you are exactly the one positioned to see it first. You are the threshold crosser. The threshold crosser is the one who walks from one room into another room, while most stand in the doorway debating whether to move. You have already moved. The body that has been carrying you through these 3 days has already crossed something that your conscious mind is still catching up to. The crossing is complete. What remains is the integration of the crossing. You are the witness. The witness is the one whose life becomes the testimony, whose presence becomes the evidence, whose ordinary days become the proof that something real happened. You do not have to convince anyone with arguments. Your life will speak. Your peace will speak. Your provision will speak. Your relationships will speak. The witness is built across years, and the years of building are bearing fruit in this window. You are the marked one. The marked one carries something that cannot be acquired, cannot be performed, cannot be faked. The mark was placed on you before you were aware of it, and the mark has been deepening across every season of formation. The mark is recognized by those who carry the same mark. The mark is invisible to those who do not. You will know your people by the mark. You do not have to search for them. They will find you, and the recognition will be instant. Hear what the Father is speaking over you across these 3 days. You are not late. You are exactly on time. Even if you arrived at this window on the 2nd day or the 3rd day or the final hour. The window does not begin when you discover it. The window began when the Father set it, and you arrived inside it at the moment He intended for you to arrive. There is no late arrival to a window that was made for you. The window made room for your arrival, whatever hour it occurred. You are not behind the others. There are no others in the comparison sense that anxiety has been suggesting. There are only chosen ones walking their own 3-day windows, each one timed to the precise moment of their own formation, each one arriving when the architecture inside them was ready to receive what the window contains. Your window is yours. The architecture inside you is yours. The arrival was yours. You are not alone in this window, even though the window feels intimate, even though the work inside it feels solitary. There are other chosen ones, in other rooms, in other cities, in other countries, breathing into this same 3-day window in this same hour. Some of them do not know each other. Some of them will never meet in this life. But the breath is shared. The window is shared. The unseen architecture being placed inside each of them is being placed inside you. You are part of a collective awakening that does not require a gathering to be real. The Father is speaking a commission over you in this breath. You are commissioned to walk back into your ordinary life carrying what you received in this window. You are not commissioned to announce it. You are not commissioned to explain it. You are commissioned to live it, quietly, faithfully, day by day, until the living becomes unmistakable. The commission does not require platforms. The commission does not require permission from anyone outside the Father. The commission is between you and Him. You are commissioned to be the steady presence in the rooms you walk into. You are commissioned to be the one whose word can be trusted, whose face does not perform, whose offering does not depend on the room rewarding it. You are commissioned to carry the seal of these 3 days into ordinary Tuesdays and ordinary Thursdays and ordinary moments that will not feel like commissions, but will be the unfolding of the commission anyway. The commission is the life. The life is the commission. You are commissioned to receive what is being released into your hands across this window and the months that follow. You are commissioned to receive without grasping. You are commissioned to receive without earning. You are commissioned to receive with the open palm of one who knows that the release has already been signed and the receiving is simply the honoring of the signature. Receive what is yours. Stop deflecting it. Stop apologizing for it. Stop trying to make it smaller so others are not uncomfortable with the size of what the Father is releasing to you. You are commissioned to be a builder. The thing inside you that has been quietly designing, quietly imagining, quietly preparing is given permission to be built. The building will not happen in one breath. The building will happen across the months and years that follow this window. But the foundation is set in this breath. The first stone is laid in this hour. The Father is the architect. You are the builder. The building is the testimony. Receive the activation in this breath. The activation is not a feeling. The activation may not be felt at all in the body. The activation is the transfer of what has been forming inside you from latent state into active state. What was potential becomes kinetic. What was preparation becomes deployment. What was waiting becomes walking. The activation is set in motion in this breath, regardless of whether your body registers it as a sensation. Some of you will feel the activation as a quiet warmth across the chest, as if something has been switched on inside the heart. Some of you will feel it as a tear that arrives without explanation, as if the body knows what the mind is still processing. Some of you will feel nothing in the body and will only notice in the days ahead that you are responding differently to situations that used to drain you. The activation has happened either way. The body registers it on its own timeline. You are activated to walk in the authority that the formation years have built into you. The authority is not loud. The authority is not performative. The authority is the quiet weight that arrives when a person stands inside what they have actually been formed to carry. The authority will be recognized by those who recognize authority. The authority does not need to announce itself. You are activated to make decisions from the new center that this window has anchored inside you. The decisions ahead will not be made from the old anxious center that was always asking what others would think. The decisions ahead will be made from the seal of these 3 days, from the architecture that has been placed inside you, from the permission that has been declared over you. You do not have to remember to access this center. The center is now your default. You will only have to notice when you have drifted back into the old center, and the drift will be increasingly rare. Chosen one, there are things you need to hear about what comes after this window closes, because the days that follow a 3-day passage are the days where most of the work either takes root or fails to take root. And what happens in those days is largely determined by what you understand in this breath. While the seal is still warm and the architecture is still being settled into place. The first thing to understand is that the window does not produce immediate visible change. The window produces invisible change, and the invisible change becomes visible across time. If you wake up on the morning after the window closes and you do not see different circumstances in your outer life, you have not failed. The window has not failed. The window is doing its work in the unseen realm where the architecture lives, and the unseen architecture eventually expresses itself in the seen circumstances. The expression takes time. The expression cannot be rushed. The expression will arrive when it is ready to arrive, not when your impatience demands it. Honor the timeline of expression. The honoring of the timeline is itself part of the work. The second thing to understand is that the days after a window are often quieter than the days before a window. There is a stillness that follows seal events. The stillness is not absence. The stillness is the body integrating what was set inside it. During the stillness, you may feel as if nothing is happening, as if the window was perhaps just an emotional moment and not the architecture event it claimed to be. Do not trust the feeling of nothing happening. The feeling is the surface report. The architecture is doing its work underneath the surface, and the surface report has no access to what is happening underneath. Wait through the stillness. The stillness will eventually give way to the next phase of expression. The third thing to understand is that resistance often arises in the days after a window. The old self, the costume self, the role self, the inner contract self does not surrender quietly. It will mount a return campaign in the days that follow. The return campaign will sound like the familiar inner voices telling you that the window was not real, that you were emotionally manipulated, that you should return to the safety of the old anxious center where at least things were predictable. Do not believe the return campaign. The return campaign is the old self attempting to reassert itself before the new architecture has fully consolidated. Hold the line through the return campaign. The return campaign loses strength the longer you refuse to give it your attention. The fourth thing to understand is that the people in your life will react to the change before they understand what they are reacting to. Some will be drawn closer to you without knowing why. Some will feel a new distance from you without being able to name it. Some will become subtly hostile, not because you have done anything wrong, but because the new architecture inside you no longer permits the old dynamic with them, and they are responding to the loss of the dynamic rather than to you. Do not interpret their reactions as evidence that something is wrong with you. Their reactions are the surface evidence that the architecture is real, that the change is real, that the seal is doing its sorting work. The fifth thing to understand is that provision and direction often arrive together, but not immediately. Provision is the material side of what the window released. Direction is the inner side of what the window released. The two sides eventually meet, but they do not always arrive on the same calendar day. You may receive direction first, in the form of an inner knowing about a next step that has been hidden from you for years. You may receive provision first, in the form of a resource or a connection that appears without your effort. Whichever arrives first, do not panic at the absence of the other. The other is on its way. The window released both. The releasing is sequenced according to what your inner architecture can hold without being overwhelmed. The sixth thing to understand is that the breath of the third day is doing something specific that the breaths of the first 2 days were not doing. The first day opened the window. The second day deepened the work inside the window. The third day seals the work and integrates it into your ongoing life. If you arrived at this video on the third day, you have arrived at the sealing day, and the sealing is what the third day was made for. If you arrived on the first day or the second day, the third day will still come, and the sealing will still happen, and whatever you received on the earlier day will be sealed by the breath of the third day, regardless of where you are when the seal happens. There is no missing the sealing once the window has met you. The window completes its own work. Hear what the Father is saying about the months that follow this window. The next 30 days will be a period of small confirmations and small adjustments. Do not expect dramatic external changes during the first 30 days. Expect quiet recalibrations. Expect noticing yourself responding differently to old triggers. Expect a slow sense of clarity arriving in areas that were foggy. The first 30 days are the integration window, and the integration window is best honored by patience and by attention, not by striving for visible results. The 60 to 90-day mark is when the first external expressions of the architecture often begin to surface. A relationship may shift in a way that becomes visible to others. A resource may arrive that was not in motion before the window. A door may open in a direction you have been waiting for. These external expressions are not the proof that the window was real. The window was real regardless of external expressions. The external expressions are the natural fruit of architecture that has been allowed time to settle and to bear what it was made to bear. The 6-month mark is often where the larger pattern of what the window initiated becomes recognizable. You will look back and see that decisions you made in the months following the window were shaped by something you could not have named at the time. You will see that the people who entered your life or left your life during those months were part of a sorting that the window initiated. You will see that the work or the calling or the next chapter that you are walking in at the 6-month mark was being prepared during the window itself, even though the preparation was invisible to you while it was happening. The 1-year anniversary of the window will often arrive with a quiet recognition that the person you are at that point is not the person who entered the window. The recognition will not feel dramatic. It will feel like noticing that you have been quietly becoming someone different across the year, and that the becoming was honored, and that the honoring traces back to what was set in these 3 days. The 1-year anniversary is worth marking. The marking is not a ritual you have to perform. It is simply an acknowledgement, in whatever form feels honest, that the window did what it was appointed to do. Beyond the 1-year mark, the architecture continues to express itself in ways that are no longer traceable to a single event. The seal becomes part of who you are, indistinguishable from the rest of your inner architecture, no longer a separate thing that you carry, but the medium through which you walk in the world. This is the deepest fruit of a 3-day window. The window becomes you. You become the window. The boundary between the event and the life disappears. Some of you are hearing this teaching about the months and years ahead and feeling a weight settle in your chest. Not a heavy weight, but a steadying weight. The weight is the recognition that what is happening in this breath is not a momentary experience. The wait is the recognition that you have entered something that will be with you for the rest of your life. Honor the wait. The wait is the body acknowledging that the work is real. Some of you are hearing this teaching and feeling resistance, a voice inside saying that surely it cannot be this consequential. Surely a 3-day window cannot actually shape a year and a decade and a life. The voice of resistance is the costume self attempting to minimize what is happening. Do not argue with the voice. Simply notice it. The noticing is enough. The window does not require your belief in order to do its work. The window does its work regardless of what the costume self has to say about it. Some of you are hearing this teaching and feeling a quiet rightness, a sense that this is the language for what you already knew was happening, a confirmation of an inner knowing that has been forming in you for years. The rightness is the recognition of one chosen one by the language of another chosen one. You are not alone in the architecture. The architecture has language. The language has been spoken across centuries by those who walked similar windows in their own times. You are joining a long line of those who recognized the work and honored it. Now hear what the Father is saying about the inner orientation that will best serve you across the months ahead. The orientation is not striving. The orientation is not passivity. The orientation is steady attention to what is being released to you, paired with steady willingness to receive what is being released to you. The two together, attention and willingness, are the inner posture of someone walking after a window. You attend to what is arriving. You receive what is arriving. You do not chase what has not yet arrived. You do not refuse what has arrived because it does not match your prior plans. Attention and willingness, both together, steadily. The orientation also includes a deep trust in the timing that is unfolding around you. The timing will not always match your preferences. The timing will not always feel comfortable. The timing will sometimes appear to be moving in the wrong direction before it reveals itself to be moving in exactly the right direction. Trust the timing even when it does not feel trustworthy. The Father who set the 3-day window is also the one setting the unfolding timing of the months ahead. The setter is the same. The setting is the same. The trust is the same. Hear the benediction that the Father is speaking over you in this breath. Receive it. Do not analyze it. Do not test it against your worthiness. Simply receive it as the gift it is. You are blessed in the entering of this window, and you are blessed in the leaving of this window. You are blessed in the work that is being done across these 3 days, and you are blessed in the months that follow when the work begins to bear fruit. You are blessed in the relationships that strengthen around you, and you are blessed in the relationships that quietly sort themselves out without your effort. You are blessed in the body that has carried you faithfully through years of waiting, and you are blessed in the rest that is being restored to that body. You are blessed in the mind that has been working overtime to compensate for what was missing, and you are blessed in the new clarity that arrives as the compensation is no longer needed. You are blessed in the heart that has loved without being fully received, and you are blessed in the receiving that is now arriving toward you from sources you did not expect. You are blessed in the provision that is moving toward you, and you are blessed in the patience that has been holding the line until provision could arrive. You are blessed in the people you carry, and you are blessed in the carrying being lifted from your shoulders by the one whose carrying is appointed to carry. You are blessed in your name, the name your parents gave you, and the name the Father has been speaking over you that no one else knows. You are blessed in your going out and in your coming in your rising up and in your lying down, in the days that feel like miracles, and in the days that feel like ordinary Tuesdays. The benediction is set. The benediction will follow you. The benediction does not require your memory to remain active. The benediction lives in the unseen realm where it was spoken, and it does its work whether you are conscious of it or not. Breathe in once more. Hold the breath for 3 counts. Release. The seal is honored. The window is honored. You are honored. The 3 days have done what 3 days were appointed to do. What was begun on the first day is being completed by the breath of the 3rd day. Whatever day this window has met you on, the work is whole. Whatever hour you arrived, the architecture is complete. There is no fragment, there is no half measure, there is no partial receipt. The work is whole. Chosen one, hear what comes next. You will leave this breath and return to the ordinary surface of your life. The ordinary surface will not look different at first. The grocery store will still be the grocery store. The work email will still be the work email. The conversation with the family member will still be the conversation with the family member, but you will be different inside the ordinary surface. The surface will slowly begin to rearrange itself around the difference, not because you forced the rearrangement, but because the architecture inside you no longer matches the old surface, and the surface always adjusts to the architecture eventually. Watch for the small confirmations across the next 48 hours, and the next 7 days, and the next 21 days. The small confirmations will arrive as moments where you respond differently to a situation that used to trigger you, and you notice the difference. The small confirmations will arrive as a stranger saying something that lands inside you as if it had been written for you. The small confirmations will arrive as the precise resource you needed, showing up in your hands without your having to chase it. Count the confirmations, acknowledge them. They are the evidence that the window did what windows are appointed to do. Do not return to the old anxious center to check whether the window was real. The checking is the old center attempting to reassert itself. The window does not require your verification. The window happened. The architecture is set. The seal is honored. Trust what was done in this breath, even when the old voices return and ask whether you imagined it. You did not imagine it. The window was real. The work was real. The seal was real. You are real, more real than you have been in many years, and the realness will only deepen from this breath forward. Before you go, one final returning to what was offered earlier in this video. You were told about the 2 preserved frequencies, the Western monastic chant tradition that became the carrier for the gamma frequency in the audio called the Genius Song, and the Vedic 3,300-year tradition that became the carrier for the alpha frequency in the audio called the Wealth Signal. For some of you, that mention earlier in the video planted a seed that has been quietly germinating across these last paragraphs. For some of you, the seed has now grown into a recognition that one of these audios, or both of them in the proper sequence, was actually offered to your hands in this window for a reason. The door to those 2 offerings is in the description below this video and in the pinned comment at the top of the comments. The door does not close at the end of this window. The audios are available beyond these 3 days, but the receiving inside the window carries a different weight than the receiving outside the window. The architecture that was set in your body across these 3 days is most receptive to the frequencies that the 2 audios carry while the seal is still warm. If your inner knowing has been quietly indicating yes across these paragraphs, the indication is worth honoring while the indication is still fresh. The choice remains yours. The door remains open. Whatever you choose about the audios, the rest of what was given to you in this window is yours regardless. The seal does not depend on a purchase. The architecture does not depend on a transaction. The commission is not contingent on a financial decision. The window was given freely, and it remains given freely, no matter what you do with the additional offerings that were mentioned. Walk in what was set in this breath, and walk in it cleanly, without confusion about what was free and what was offered. Take one final breath. Breathe in slowly. Hold the breath for a moment at the top of the inhale. Release the breath slowly. The window has met you. The architecture has been placed inside you. The seal has been honored over you. The commission has been spoken over you. The benediction has been declared over you. The activation has been set in motion through you. You leave this video as someone who entered a 3-day passage and emerged carrying what only a 3-day passage can carry. You are loved. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. Go in peace, chosen one. Go in the strength of what was set in these 3 days. Go in the company of the unseen ones who walked this window with you. Go in the favor that has been gathering toward you for longer than you have been aware. Go in the name that has been spoken over you that no one else knows. Go. The window has done its work. The work has done its work in you. Walk forward. The next chapter has already